Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Around the Indoor Football World, where, of course, we talk about all the major indoor football leagues, whether that's the IFL, the AF1, the NAL, the TAL, and lately the AAL as well. So if you're a big indoor football fan like us, stick around. We've got a lot to talk about today. We'll be talking about subjects from basically all of those leagues we just discussed. But stick around. We've got lots and lots to talk about. We'll hit the intro video and then we'll get right into the topics for today. All right, before we get too far into this, how are you guys doing this morning? Cody?
You got me chewing on my breakfast. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you being here as usual. Krish, how are you doing this morning, man?
Doing good, excited for another great episode.
Absolutely. TJ, how are you doing, man?
Oh man, hey, I'm here and excited. Let's talk about some arena and indoor football.
You're dripping enthusiasm. I can feel it. But yeah,
just woke up
go ahead
15
and get
minutes
into
ago.
this.
Give it some time.
It's all right. It's all right. It's early. I get it. Not everybody else has already opened an energy drink and, about halfway through of it. So we got lots to talk about today. Literally, as I discussed in the lead up, basically information from about every league that we cover here on Around the Indoor Football World. So if you guys are just tuning in and you're a new fan, let's see if we can't get that fixed. Thanks for telling me, Ricky. Apparently, we are having some issues on Facebook currently. Give me just a moment. So basically, let's start with the AIF, or I guess my assumption is the AIF. Last night, there was some news, or somebody caught that the Amarillo Dusters had put up a post for the first time in about 2 seasons. And they had ultimately said that they were moving. They're apparently moving out of the state of Texas, which I would imagine comes with the new league, as I would imagine they will not be rejoining the NAL. But with that being said, they had put a name in their header that said the Bayou Bucks. So I wanted to kind of go around the horn real quick on this one. Where do you guys think this team ends up? And okay, interesting. So a new logo just posted on their page for the Bio Bucks. So I'll pull that up here in a second. So what are you guys' thoughts? Where does this team end up? Where do they end up playing, league-wise, location-wise? Let's go to TJ first on this one.
Well, if I had to assume, I'd say probably like AL, AIF, probably not to sound like I'm talking trash, but one of the cheaper leagues to run a team in, maybe. Because I know in the past they've had, as a franchise, have had financial woes and difficulty grabbing some attention, stuff like that. So obviously a lower costing league would be a better starting point for them, especially since they're coming back now after, how long of a hiatus and stuff. So that'd be my guess.
According to well, we got a ton of comments already, but Ricky Bird's not sure why, but your video isn't coming up on Facebook Live. That's what I was referring to earlier. Morning, Brian says, new logo just posted, Sam, on that page, which is the one we're looking at right now. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty decent looking logo. It would imagine that's AI generated, but it looks good. Looks very similar to the Bucks.
AI has to catch up to the arena field line numbers.
True. And camo and orange are the colors. Brian also said it is Louisiana. Gotta love the AI field. So yeah, lots of love for that AI. As always, we're not big fans of the use of AI and anything. But other than that, like, what are your guys' overall thoughts? The name, where do they end up, league they play in, and thoughts on the logo now that we have this up. TJ, you got to express your thoughts on the other stuff. What do you think about the logo?
Oh, I think it looks cool. If that actually is the field with camo imprinted into it, that would be even cooler. I mean, you can't go wrong with the logo. I loved it. I've always loved the just the overall Bucks logo, I guess we can call it at this point. But yeah, it looks cool, looks awesome. Let's see if it actually comes to fruition. That would be my thought.
Absolutely. A couple comments real quick. The Bayou Bucks is the name of an old NIFL team from the early 2000s, which I actually personally think that's a nod to them potentially joining the AIF, as the AIF has brought back multiple team names from the past. But Cody, what are your thoughts on the Bayou Bucks? Oh yeah, Louisiana State's outlined by the deer.
My thoughts on it are pay someone to create your logos. I mean, we've seen so many great logos from the TAL and from other leagues and things like that. We just did it last week with the Memphis Hound Dogs. So pay people to do that, please. I mean, as a graphic designer myself, just there's people out there that will do it, even do it for cheap. So I mean, like, it's as simple as that. As for the logo itself, if you take away the AI elements and stuff, it's a nice logo. I mean, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's showing you what the mascot's supposed to be. The state outline's pretty nice. But uh, as for the league and everything that they're going to go to, like you mentioned, the AIF and stuff like that, and I'll echo what TJ said, going probably down to one of the lower leagues when it comes to that to try and skate by, do whatever they can. Camo field's probably going to cost you a pretty penny when it comes to, making that. I mean, we'll see when all the news comes out. I don't have a lot of high hopes from Amarillo, getting kind of muscled out where the Warbirds are now, and then now they're trying to find a new place, which it looks like they've already found a place, but at the same time, like, you kind of just sit there and go, okay, well, they're already leaving town, so how long until they leave town again?
Fair point. They've had a pretty chaotic history over the past couple seasons, as we all know, which is why they were not playing games in 2025 before this announcement came out of left field the other day. But hey, apparently this is the time where all the teams want to be somewhat relevant, even if they haven't played in a couple seasons. So it's kind of crazy to see this. But Krish, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the post. The Amarillo Dusters account was controlled by Jordan Lott, former team president for them. He's in jail now, so they must have been able to get the login somehow. But I think it's really interesting. I mean, the AIF, it's too hard to keep up with for me. I mean, the new teams coming in 3 months before kickoff. We got coaches leaving. We got this Odessa driller team. Like, it just I, I I can't keep up. I hope it works out for them, but I think Cody hit it on the nail. Like, if your logo is the first impression of your franchise, right? So if you're paying for AI for that, like, you're already starting off on the wrong foot, in my opinion. So yeah.
All right. Once again, not fans of the AI logo work, which, if you're a prospective team owner and you happen to be watching this show, my first piece of advice for you would be to pay a graphic designer. That $100 or $200 or whatever you end up paying them for that logo is worth the positive public image in the arena football space, because trust me, from experience, a lot of these fans do not like the AI touches that have been put in some of these leagues. So just a little piece of advice for any prospective team owners that might be watching, because that is definitely something that I feel is fairly easily correctable, especially if you know that that's something that the community is not a fan of. But the next piece of information that I wanted to talk about was Amani Peoples jumps from the AF1. I believe he was with the Oregon Lightning last season, Krish, right? Jumps over to the Ozark Lunkers. So the Lunkers get a pretty solid pass rusher. Honestly, I think People's skill set and his game really translate to the TAL well. I think he's going to be a really solid player for the Lunkers, and probably get some interest back up at another league after that. But what are your thoughts, Krish?
Yeah, I think it's a good move for them. I mean, Ozark last year, I thought their defense was decent. I thought they made enough stops for them to be competitive in the playoffs. But, I think they need to address the offensive side of the football too, in terms of receivers and especially the one down lineman. So it's good to see them kind of, retaining that strong pass rush that they had last year. So it's good.
Completely agree. TJ, any thoughts on that move?
It's just kind of like what we were saying off air. I found it interesting that it's funny that he went from AF1 to TAL. So clearly he likes the arena style more, or maybe caters to it. I don't know, but yeah, I mean it. We'll see how it plays out. But it just seems a lot of guys are leaving the AF1 for the TAL this off season.
That's a fair point. We did talk about that a little bit off camera, and it does seem like there has been somewhat of a increase in people making that move. Cody, what are your thoughts about this move?
Yeah, it's just to piggyback off of that. You kind of raised your eyebrows a little bit when you're like, wait, I thought AF1 was wanting to be or is the top dog or whatever, and they're going to the TAL, which is a completely different rule set, different number of players on the field, completely different way of doing things. So your ears perk up a little bit, and you're like, hey, maybe it's not just the league, but maybe it's the teams and the owners and stuff. And I'm not trying to, start anything or talk ass or any whatever, but like kind of just raise your eyebrows and perk your ears up when you're just like, why are these people leaving? Why are they leaving in mass?
That's true. That's true.
I
And
mean,
that
the
is
main team I see it with is Arkansas, right? And Arkansas, if you look at their setup, with Coach Bones, I mean, the amount of money they're paying guys in Arkansas, like they got a high payroll. I mean, Aaron Dilworth, he makes over 1,000 a game, so he's not going to make that. And for most AF1 teams, unfortunately, in today's market, so it's interesting when you think about like pay structure and everything.
I was curious, and I don't know much about the TAL pay structure per se, but is that legal? Like, is it legal that he's making that kind of money for the league?
Yeah, it's kind of off, sponsorships. So they have like a cap. I think they cap at 500, but you can pay with sponsorships. So you can sneak around it. I mean, they're not gonna, you know. I
Gotcha.
mean, Minnesota was doing it all last year. Minnesota was paying guys crazy amounts of money, and no one. They finally caught them at the end when they decided to leave, but it wasn't a problem when they were actively doing it. The Iowa Woo did it with Arvell Nelson and Lorenzo Brown. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Interesting for sure. So, I mean, obviously not much to unpack there. Just, I thought it was kind of interesting because he was a pretty prominent player for Oregon last season. But we'll move on to the AAL. Ricky says it is not legal. It is not legal to pay them. But next piece of information, the Columbus Lions have welcomed a new offensive coordinator for 2026. His name is Pierre Coffey. So, Krish, I know you're pretty versed in the history of the game. What do you know about Mr. Coffey?
Yeah, he's a local coach. He coached at Carver, I believe, down there. He won a state championship, so it's a big move for them. They compete in I believe the 3A in Georgia, so it's one of the toughest divisions to compete in high school football. So it's really good to see Columbus make a change at the offense coordinator position and get a new identity in there. I felt like sometimes their offense was a little, stagnant last year. And so I think they needed a new identity, new blood. I'm happy. I love when, a team can go out and get someone local, especially him. He's won a high school state championship. So, I mean, I think he's going to do great, honestly.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Class 2A, it says state champion head coach, and he's kind of got an offensive background. He's also a principal in the area, which I'm guessing, just based on the way they've been building, there's going to be some pretty tight ties to the school district there for the Columbus Lions. Cody, TJ, any thoughts on that move for the Lions?
I mean, I can maybe throw it over to TJ with his kind of expertise in coaching, but it's one of the big questions I always have whenever we interview coaches or things like that is where do you get your start? You don't just throw yourself into the indoor and arena game outside of high school or college. So you got to start somewhere to start building your resume in the indoor and arena game. And if this is what it is for him, then it's a good way to get your foot in the door.
Absolutely. And it wouldn't shock me if that's the case. Damian Daniels and Roger Beck, and I'm forgetting his name at the moment. I apologize, but a couple of the other coaches.
General manager, right? Corey Black.
And then also one of the players, I believe, is a coach out there in the high school level. So
I believe Drill Green from Western
there you
Kentucky.
go. Thank you, Drill Green. That's who I was thinking of. So there's really tight ties to the high school coaching level. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is his first forte in indoor football, but I honestly did not reach out to Roger to ask that question beforehand. So if you happen to be watching Roger, if you could give us a little bit more background on that, see if, kind of let us know if he has any sort of indoor football experience, that would be awesome. The other piece of information is that the Lions also signed wide receiver Ja'Kias Creedle. Does anybody know anything about Ja'Kias Creedle?
Yeah, he started his career at UCF down in Orlando, played there for a little bit, transferred to Georgia Southern. He averaged 13.3 yards per catch, and I think just having a consistent young guy who can stretch the field, he's going to learn from one of the best deep threat receivers, I believe, who played in the NAL last year, and Jamon Fortson, and who've been so consistent. So it's a great pickup for them.
Krish dropping the knowledge as always. Any thoughts on?
I think it also shows a testament to like the AL2 AAL kind of mindset too, because he didn't get a lot of looks in college, but collectively he showed flashes. So now he's getting that opportunity in this league, and maybe he can parlay it into moving up. Who knows, into one of the core three or in one of the outdoor leagues. So again, I think it's just a testament to the AL not just saying what their brand is, but also sticking to it.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing I wanted to ask you guys about. So obviously we have the AAL, who pay wise is probably a step behind some of the other leagues, just slightly. But when you think about that and them starting in April, do you think that there's any players that might, get signed by an AAL team and then garner recognition from another team in the IFL, AF1, NAL, and get poached before their season begins because they start later? Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it could happen, but with Columbus, for example, right? A guy who's been getting interest over the years, and DeAndre Brown, the pass rusher, really, really good, played had an NFL opportunity there with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the biggest thing for him, he lives in Columbus. So I think, and at this point, he's what, 34, 33? So he's older. He's a veteran, right? So I think as these guys get older, that interest kind of goes down, in my opinion. But the younger guys, for sure, definitely. Not maybe IFL, but NAL and, other leagues, for sure.
Any thoughts on that, TJ?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Krish on that.
Fair point. Cody, any thoughts?
I mean, people get poached from other leagues all the time, whether it's going from one league to another and back and forth, depending on how the season goes. Guys just want to make their money. So, I mean, that doesn't necessarily bother me whatsoever.
Gotcha. That's fair. All right. Well, one thing that I did not bring up when we were discussing the AIF, and I apologize about this, I should have, we had a game last night. So the West Michigan Ironmen played the Austin Falcons, correct? And it was, from what I saw, quite the blowout. And until I think I saw up until 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And then after that, I had to go put my kid to bed. But did anybody catch the final score if you're watching? And did any of you guys catch the final score?
Yeah, it was like 79-0. It's funny that they play again that level of competition. I mean, they seem to have a solid setup over there with fan base, sponsorship wise. So I couldn't watch it. It was so difficult to watch.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we would all love to see them in a better league with some like level competition, you could say. Perhaps, I don't know, the AAL. I think that would be a pretty good comparison competition level wise. Any thoughts on that game last night, TJ?
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail right on the head. That's kind of the classic, it's like to put it in terms that everyone watching will understand, it's like when you're playing Madden or college football, right? And you can kill people at rookie mode, but when you step up to pro mode, it gets kind of difficult, so you go back down to rookie mode. That's kind of what some of these teams kind of get stuck into. And I mean, hey, I'm not talking trash. If you want to stay in a lower level league and dominate and win championships that way, that's cool. But if you want to, test yourself and move up and take some hits back, you know, then you can do that. That's up to ownership. But yeah, I would like to see them move up because like everyone's saying, a couple comments, yeah, I watched it till it was 21-0, then I switched it. That's not good for, the team or the league because you know what's going to happen. So after a little bit, you stop watching, viewership drops.
Agreed. Which viewership was, I think only around the 200 level last night, which to be expected. It's a very early game. I don't think a lot of fans are in that mode yet. On top of the fact that it was a veritable preseason game essentially. So, Cody, any thoughts on that game? Did you watch it at all last night?
I didn't, and it's crazy to think. I think Krish mentioned it, or maybe you did, about teams moving up leagues. You got to remember that at one point in time, the West Michigan Ironmen were like applying to be in the IFL and CIF and all of that stuff too. It wasn't that long ago, about less than a decade ago. So yeah, to kind of go off that, it's crazy. It's crazy to think like what could have been. Like if they joined the IFL, would they just be another doormat and then just like folded, or would they actually like you see what they're doing right now? Could they have been serviceable? Could they have been something we don't know? And whether or not ownership or they've applied or I don't know this behind the scenes stuff, but it's like, man, you kind of just think what could have been had West Michigan just joined, or if they were allowed to join or they were let in or stuff. So it's crazy to think what could be.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I believe they were like a part of the CIF, tried to apply for the IFL, and then the CIF blocked it. If somebody's watching, they can correct me on that.
So what happened is around that time, it was when Wichita Falls and Sioux Falls wanted to go from the IFL to the CIF, and then it was pretty much going to be a trade, I believe. I can't remember the other team. It was West Michigan and I think Bloomington.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the IFL, and then the IFL sued Sioux Falls and Wichita Falls. I could be getting this stuff completely wrong, but there was some sort of injunction. Sioux Falls and Wichita Falls ended up staying in the IFL, and then, yeah, what could have been.
Talk about a shakeup. That would have been interesting to see. So final score was apparently 81-0, and it was a local semi-pro team, which I thought it was Austin. I apologize. The Bloomington Edge was the other team that Cody was referring to a couple minutes ago, says Ricky, and I would imagine he would know because I have a pretty good feeling that he was a part of that whole situation, and that was not all that long ago. So any other thoughts on any AIF, TAL, or AAL topics that we did not bring up?
Any guesses for who Monroe announces who where they'll play, I believe on Friday. Any guesses on who the head coach might be for them?
That's a good question.
Go get Coach O. You need that local flavor. He has no idea about the arena game, but you get some fanfare.
Coach O, yeah.
There you go.
Go Tigers.
I have no idea, honestly. That's a good question. With Doug Parrish being there as the GM, I'm not sure how much power they have in the hiring, but I don't know his ties in particular to like indoor coaches. Would not shock me to see him pull down maybe he has close ties with like a UFL coach that's looking for a head coaching opportunity or something like that, and maybe we get somebody like that, but it'll be interesting to see who he ends up bringing in. I think I haven't said this yet, but so after the show today, stick around because we have a pre-recorded interview with Matthew K. Word. Don't get his last name wrong. Matthew K. Word, the GM of the Nebraska Siege, and I think he kind of tips us off to who the head coach is going to be of the Siege in that interview. So stay tuned for that. But I don't have a lot of hunches on Monroe as of yet. Who do you think, Krish?
It's hard. I mean, you know, who wants to do it? You know, at this late. I mean, let's be honest. We're in January, right? You have until May to build a roster and get everything ready. You know, it's a limited time. So, I'm not really sure. I mean, James Shiver is always the name. You know, he seems to really want to get back into indoor coaching. He's local, right? You know, Chris Hempel is another name. We've had him on the show. You know, I'm sure he wants to get another head coaching opportunity. So guys like that, you know, not a big name and someone they can get for cheap too. The money is not really good, and for head coaches in the TAL. So
Sure. Any thoughts, Cody? Any thoughts outside of actually Coach O?
No, not really. I mean, it'll be a surprise regardless, because like comments are saying, who's left to hire? You know, Chris is pointing out too, like the closer you get to the season, the more the positions are filled. So it's going to be harder to either poach someone from a different coaching staff or go down the list of guys that you're like, this guy's already been hired, this guy's already been hired. So I'm not trying to dog on them, but they're behind the 8 ball when it comes to this. They need to get someone.
Sure. All right, so we will go ahead and move on.
Also just to jump at what Krish mentioned, you should definitely watch the interview when you're talking about not enough time, because some pretty interesting stories from the Duke City Gladiator days. Just a little breadcrumbs.
DJ, aren't you a coach?
Huh?
Aren't you a coach?
I'm retired.
Oh, okay, never mind.
He was about to
I've been
offer
out
the
since-
Monroe job.
Yeah, I've been out since 21.
How's the climate in Louisiana for you?
I mean, I live in the Northeast right now. We're supposed to get a snowstorm, so
That's everywhere now.
yeah. Well, the superstorm.
I mean, they're probably getting snow in Louisiana too, I guess.
Apparently.
Hey, if the paycheck is nice, I'll go for a couple-month vacation. Hey, you know.
There we go. All right, sign him up. You got your coach, Monroe. Here he is, TJ Bartholomew. He's coming on down. Special teams are going to be an emphasis.
I guarantee it'll be pretty, but it'll be interesting to watch.
The John Harbaugh of the TAL.
I love it. All right, so we're going to hit a quick commercial break. We're going to come back. We'll talk briefly about some IAL contract shenanigans, and then we will move on to the IFL, the AF1, and the NAL. And we should have a guest joining us any minute. I'm actually going to check on that during the commercial break, and we will get to some NAL talk with him as well. It's the Director of Player Personnel for the Salina Liberty, Mr. JD Mills, which, like I said, we'll get on here shortly.
How many times a week? Like three or four times, maybe.
I'm gonna pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
All right, working on that guest still. Let me see if I can't get him on. This is a good question. Why doesn't the TAL start looking at high-level six-man high school coaches? I mean, given the style of play, there's some logic there. It's not a bad suggestion at all. Also, Ricky, if you're watching, I apologize for cutting off your commercial, sir. That was an accident. I will definitely play it next commercial break once again. But let's go ahead and transition over to the IAL contract situation, which, if you follow Brandy Runyon on Facebook, who is a contract agent for players, she kind of broke down the contract a little bit and got into some of the situations in that contract that are a little scary for players. And one of them I think needs to be talked about here. We have a little bit of an audience, so let's go ahead and utilize that to educate some players that may be looking at these contracts and not, kind of glossing over the fact that there is a clause in there that basically denies them health coverage for the league. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I mean, what do you guys think of immediately when you hear something like that about a new league coming out? Cody, I'll pass on asking you. I know you don't really want to spend a bunch of time on the IAL. So, TJ, what are your thoughts when you heard about the contract situation?
I just want to start this off by saying that anything I say is purely my opinion, not of anyone else's on the show or the network, just in case I piss some people off. But it's ridiculous. You literally have it in your contract that if a player gets hurt, you have a legal loophole out of it's all on them. Uh, that is a semi-pro league with pro perks. That is essentially what that makes them. They are. It's everything about this league just screams like sham. Okay, not scam, sham, because the definition of a sham is hollow promises that are never fulfilled, and that's what I feel like this league is. If I'm a player or a coach, I would stay away unless you get a huge lump sum paycheck. Because as we talked about before, hey, if it never even happens, well, you just got like a free income tax return check. So congrats. But if you are a player seriously seeking an opportunity, pick this as your last opportunity because it's just not a great option. Um, I've been back and forth with this league for a little bit, but all the new information coming out, man, it's just I've never felt this way about an arena or indoor league before. But I honestly do. I'm completely indifferent if they succeed or fail. I'm not even going to really watch them because it's just disheartening. To me, this league is the dark side of arena football.
Absolutely. It's a little scary for sure. Krish, thoughts?
Yeah, I think TJ kind of hit it on the nail. I think it's a whole bunch of bullshit. If you ask me, I mean, let's just be honest for a sec. Like, I mean, I hear stuff from Sean King over in Cincinnati. I'm a player's coach. I'm like, no, you're not, bro. You just want your money, you want your bread, and you want to leave. I would think after being stranded with no food or water in Rapid City, you would have learned your lesson. But it seems he hasn't learned a lesson, so he just wants the money. And then you see Cy Burley, and I respect Cy Burley. I mean, Cy Burley did great things back in the day in the NAL. I mean, TJ knows, right? Like 26-8, right? Like two championship appearances, one championship won. Like he's done great things, but I saw him get on a scheduled release live in the front wheel driving a car. Like that, the level of unprofessionalism is all over the place with the league. You watch their live streams. The commissioner league said it's easy to do a U.S. arena league. If it's easy, then why aren't there more leagues? You know what I mean? So it's just it's demeaning to the rest of the sport. It's dark, and I don't know as a coach how you can say that you really care about the players if you're sending out that contract. You know, I mean and another thing is like I know you mentioned Brandy Runman posted that the contract, right? Like she even in her first post said she didn't really notice anything. So it took her a little bit to notice. And so that's for me, like that's for everyone across the board. Like that's the first thing you should notice in line number 5 in bold, where it says that, right? And so it's super concerning to me. I'm surprised. Like I'm really surprised like a guy like Kenny Veal. I have so much respect for KV. We had him on the show. I'm surprised he signed that contract. I'm surprised. But for me it's a dollar amount. And a lot of people are just blinded by the money and they don't really look at where the money's coming from. They don't care as long as they get the money. And that's a really bad thing. Really bad.
Cody, you have some thoughts?
I just want to say that I brought this up last week. It was when Coach Davis and Ricky were on. They were chatting back and forth, and I brought it up of if, say, a player for the Las Vegas Rockers or whoever goes over to Dusseldorf and gets hurt, what does that fall under? Are they under the insurance of wherever they're headquartered in the United States, which is apparently Vegas, or do they fall under the jurisdiction of Germany? You kind of deal with that stuff in the NFL when they go play in Germany, London, Dublin, wherever. So that was something that I raised, and that's something that needs to be figured out. And apparently it's figured out to the point of, LOL, nope, you don't get anything. So for me, that has been the biggest thing is, one, we're hearing all of this backing of money and wherever it's coming from. If you can't cite where it's coming from, there's already a huge red flag. I don't care if it's we'll wait and see. We had wait and see with the AFL 3.0. There were rumors going around about Master P co-owning or owning the Louisiana team, and that never came to fruition. So once you say we don't know where this money is coming from, or we know where it's coming from, but we're not going to tell you, like that's already a huge red flag. And then you deal with the workers' comp stuff. Ricky talked about it last week as well. Workers' comp is, as he puts in the comment that you'll show here in a minute, it's federal law. You have to pay players, your employees, when they get hurt, if they're hurt on company time, man. Like you have to pay them. It's a federal law. Like I said, I'll be cordial with this because I'm not going to go fully in to echo TJ. These are my opinions. This does not reflect on Shady Sports. I know that it's here on Shady Sports, but these are my opinions. I've said it last week. This is a fly-by-night league. If they make a kickoff, it'll be a couple of games max until they run out of money. If that, it'll be an AFL 3.0 thing. So if they don't like me saying that, I'm sorry to ruin your dreams and your hopes, but to Krish's credit, if it's easy to run a US league, why didn't you start with the US and then try and expand out to Europe?
Or vice versa.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean,
and they talk about they act like they know Europe. I mean, Mook Zimmerman probably doesn't even know where Europe is on a map. So I don't even know that. Like, it's crazy.
I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, right? But there was one thing that stuck out to me in their last live stream, and honestly, I catch these mostly to try and see if they can convince me if there's a reason to believe in this league. And the commissioner of the league, who was deemed the commissioner by the owner, Tom Mitchell, or the guy who's running the league, Tom Mitchell, he told me, or he said in the live that he had not considered the height of the scoreboards when picking arenas. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, how as an arena football league do you not consider that when that's a known problem that's been experienced by every arena league that exists at this point? So it just struck me as odd. And then there were some other things in the press conferences. Mook Zimmerman not knowing the roster sizes, not knowing if you needed rebound nets or not, stuff like that. But, we're already getting way off into the weeds, much like these comments. So Eagles sucks. My 49ers kicked the Eagles' ass. You know what? All right, this year they did. Congratulations. Take your victory lap. Enjoy your next round exit.
How'd they do against the Seahawks again?
Lil Wayne was the potential owner of Louisiana. Look at Myles Garrett. He chose the money over winning.
And
all right, apparently we're talking NFL.
I just want to say, like, and again, like, my opinion or whatever, like, but your coaches are a reflection on the league, right? So you have a coach wearing sunglasses, you have a coach driving a car, you have a coach that looks like he just came from the food bank, right? Like it's all these different things. So it's like it's a reflection on your league, and they don't seem to care. Like that's my issue. Show some level of respect and care toward professionalism and what it stands for.
Well, if it starts,
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point because you look at the NAL, you look at the AF1, IFL obviously, whenever one of their coaches are on air and stuff, they are professional. They're always wearing a team polo or some kind of team branding, league branding. It's like Chris said, it's a thought process. It's all about perception, and you have to hit that on the head, or else like this, you're going to be questioned about it.
Yeah, can you imagine if Coach Negron came on a show with ripped jeans, like a shirt that doesn't even fit, like all that stuff, like how bad of a look that would be, right? We would all be talking about it. So these coaches should be held to the same standard, in my opinion, and they're not.
Yeah, you don't need to be suit and tie with everything, but be presentable. Like know that you're going on camera. Like, yeah, don't wear tattered clothes, but at the same time, you don't have to look your Sunday best. You can wear your Shady Sports Network shirt to every press conference. There you go.
Just saying,
Plug it right
team
in.
branded.
Like the Nighthawks hoodie my boy sent me.
Exactly. So I mean,
if we're going, you gotta go with the brigade.
Literally every week when we're on this show, we all have something related to arena football or Shady Sports on. So just saying, it's not difficult. It's not difficult. But on that note, we're gonna hit a quick commercial break. We'll come back with JD Mills, the director of player personnel for the Salina Liberty. Hopefully, I got that title correct. He can correct me here in a moment if it is not.
The mountains you climb, maybe stairs. The records you set, maybe personal. The fans you inspire, maybe family. No lights, no camera, just action. You don't have to be a pro. You just need HoneyStinger.
How many times a week? Like three, four times maybe.
I'm gonna pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
All right, as mentioned before, we are back with JD Mills, the director of scouting. I apologize, director of scouting for the Salina Liberty.
You're good, man.
JD.
Thanks for having me, man. I've been called much worse, so whatever you got for me, I'm pretty sure I can handle it.
Okay, as long as it's only the title, I got the name right, I guess. So that's a step forward. So JD, tell us, kind of give us a quick introduction into yourself, how you got involved with the Salina Liberty, and then we'll kind of lob some questions up for you.
Yeah, man. So first of all, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. My journey to this has been very unconventional. I spent 15 years as a paramedic, and I started coaching youth football about 6-7 years ago. And I got linked up with a minor league team, Joplin Crusaders, won a few championships with them, started kind of just feeling like I wanted to pivot into sports full time. Reached out a bunch, got told no quite a bit. And then Coach O'Neill, bless his heart, he decided to take a chance on me. And we talked scouting for an hour, 2 hours or so. And he's like, let's do it. Let's make something happen. So since then, man, it's been a whirlwind. I feel like I do football 1,000 hours a week. My phone's always blowing up. My wife's always like, football again? I'm like, yes, football again. And so now I'm here with you fine people as it snows outside and it's like -4 here. So
There you go. As you say that, you have a football movie on in the background. I love it.
Yeah, a
Football all the
little
time.
tribute to Coach Beam over at Laney. I was like, I got to throw that up there for this episode.
Love that. I love that. Awesome. Well, first of all, as I said before, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm excited to hear more about how you got into this and like how your transition has been. I was aware that you had been with Joplin. Tell me a little bit about that experience before we get into your time with Salina so far.
Man, I'll tell you, it was crazy. There's a guy that was the D coordinator at the time, Cleavon Williams. He was at Oklahoma State, and for like 3 or 4 years. And so we were coaching youth ball against each other in Joplin. And I actually got into youth coaching because I didn't have enough on my plate. And I told my wife, we have 3 kids. I'm like, I'm bored. I want to go coach youth football. She's like, you don't have the time. So then I went and coached youth football. And I started talking to Clee one day after practice, and we were just talking scheme and just different philosophies. And he goes, man, you should come coach semi-pro ball. I said, bro, I didn't play college. I didn't play past, high school, and I wasn't that good in high school. He goes, just come out and try it. So I had a working interview with Sam Sturgis that was about 4 hours long, and I wound up getting the D-line coaching job. And then after, a year or so, I moved into the D coordinator position. And then now I still currently work as the general manager for them, helping them with scouting and stuff. It just kind of fell right place, right time, right people.
Love that. Cody, do you have anything for Mr. Mills?
Well, first of all, good morning. The snow sucks here in Kansas. I'm sure you can attest to that.
Yeah.
My question to you. Well, first of all, Joplin's great, but Pittsburgh is so much better. I'm kidding. There's a huge rivalry between Pitt State and Missouri Southern. My question to you, having been in Salina for as long as you have and knowing the winning history and traditions, they've won a playoff game every single season since COVID. So how are you helping maintain that through your scouting to make sure that Salina keeps winning, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs? They've won championships before. How do you help contribute to that?
So I think the most important thing that you hit on right there is the culture that Coach O'Neill brings to the team, that Coach Hampton brings to the team. They signed Dom Logan as their offensive defensive line coach. He's got a great history of winning and getting kids where they need to be. I think the biggest thing that I harp on when I talk to some of these kids is, what can you do in our system to maintain our culture? And that goes to being an off the field teammate. Is your social media cleaned up? Are you doing things right in the community? Are you not bringing negative attention to our culture? And what can you do on the field? Even though you're not a receiver, can you be a special teams guy? Can you be, an impact player at a different position that you may not be used to? And those are the kind of guys I recruit. Because I tell guys all the time, talent is everywhere. Everybody runs a 4.4 now. Like when we were all younger, 4.4 was like guaranteed check, right? You were going somewhere. Now everybody's got skills. So what can you provide to our culture with those skills that allow us to keep winning on and off the field? Because they're directly correlated.
Krish, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted to ask about the quarterback room this year with Evan Lewandowski, Aaron Aiken, and Devon Blair. How excited are you for the quarterback position this year?
I think it's going to be electric, honestly, guys. Like, we have the ability. Obviously, you can score anywhere. You can score from anywhere in this league, right? It's so fast-paced and so all over the place. But the ability to give them time, that's what Dom Logan brings in. I think those guys are all great. I love our quarterback room. The guys are fantastic. The biggest addition to the team this year is the offensive line coach with Dom Logan, with giving the quarterbacks the ability to work through their reads, the ability to make those reads, make those throws, and not be pressured so much. I think that goes unnoticed a lot when you have so much talent in the QB room, is how can we make these guys better? They're already really good, but if we can't give them time to be really good, you'll never see it. So I think they're going to be competing a lot for starting spots. I think we've got a really good, healthy mix of guys that, have been there, are getting there, are in the process of being the guy right now. But I think the biggest addition absolutely was signing Dom Logan to come over and coach the offensive line.
I love that. TJ, what are your questions for Coach Mills?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us. What has been some of the biggest things you've noticed so far in with the difference between youth and semi-pro as opposed to now being in professional football?
Well, I love the competition of adult football players, but I love the innocence of youth football. My oldest son, Colton, plays on a travel team on like NFL flag. He's 8, and I got tagged by his coaches, Cortez and Justin, to help coach down in Kansas City last year. And I was like, man, I love this so much more because it's so pure. Like, you don't have to worry about dudes. Coach, I'm the guy. Like, you can't tell me this, that, and the third. Like, kids just want to play ball. They just want to have fun, and it's so much. So that kind of like refreshes my soul for this soul-sucking road of like trying to deal with NIL, trying to deal with grown men athletes, trying to deal with people getting arrested. Like, it's such a just a gauntlet throughout the year that people don't tell you about, right? But I always tell my son, I'm like, I just want to go watch you play football for like 30 minutes. I need to recharge my batteries. And then I wind up being coach dad, like, bro, flip your hips. Like, what are you doing? And so it's always kind of like a little conundrum I have. I'll tell you, semi-pro is the most underutilized recruiting tool for arena scouts, for European leagues, for everything. We just signed Austin Jones. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that name. He played in the fan control league with Johnny Manziel a few years back. And Austin is an absolute unit at defensive end. This guy's got a wingspan that's crazy. He's a true linebacker, but he plays DN so well that his coaches moved him down. Marcus London did a great job with him, getting him to where he needs to be. But when I first got this job, I was like, I got to call Austin. Like, he's getting old like the rest of us. His clock's ticking, and let's get him signed. Well, a couple weeks later, he's on our roster, and he's ready to roll. I think he reports to camp next week. So it's very exciting to have the success I had with the coaching staff I was with in semi-pro, to kind of meet everybody and learn what they're doing. And that directly correlates to our success in arena, having that pool to pull from, because those guys are in shape. Like, they're playing in the spring too. So if they're playing for the Bears, the Gators, the Panthers up in Kansas City for us, those guys are going to be in shape. So it's really like a farm league. We can just pick and pull and play, and it helps us out a lot.
Absolutely. So I have to ask, I mean, obviously this is not a direct relation to the NAL, but I mean, do you keep an eye on leagues like the AAL2 and stuff like that for players as well?
I do. I get a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls from Tyrone Washington, from Philip Harding, and they're always kind of keeping me in the loop of what's going on. Just when I kind of think I have all my ducks in a row, I find out there's a whole separate subsection of ducks that I know nothing about. So everybody's kind of funneling that into me, and that's really good. It's a really good thing to have, because you don't know what you don't know. And Philip sent me film on a kid last week, and I said, how did I not know about this guy? And I text Coach O'Neill. I was like, do I suck at this? Like, did I just not know? Like, what's going on? He goes, you don't know what you don't know. Like, there's so many arena football players throughout so many leagues, and they're just kind of out into the ether. So it's been really nice to have those resources that have been around for a while, and getting to do stuff like this obviously gets the word out as well. But it's a huge networking game, man. That's the most fun of it.
100% it is. Out of curiosity, have you heard of the free agent portal yet?
I've heard of it. I haven't really done too much with it.
Highly recommend you check it out. I think it's going to be a great asset for coaches over the next couple of years. Completely free for coaches to sign up. Sorry, this is my shameless plug for them, because I think that what they're doing is awesome. But like, there's not to your credit, there's no database for like American football players. There's one for European football players, or players that are interested in Europe, but there's not one for arena football players or players that are looking to play in US. So this is kind of filling that void, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see it. But obviously I wanted to ask, I mean, when you look at your roster so far for Salina, which players to you kind of do you hang your hat on? Like, I don't want to necessarily have you single out any guys that you're directly responsible for signing, but like, who do you look at and you're like, that guy's going to be a star, and he's somebody I brought into the team?
Well, obviously Austin's he's solid. Like, he's going to be just fine. I think, a lot of this goes to, I directly scout several people, and then Coach Logan scouts several people, Coach Hampton, Coach O'Neill. Like, it's kind of a collective effort. And I think one of the guys I'm most excited about, I honestly had nothing to do with him other than texting Dom and saying good job, because I think he's the one that scouted him, or maybe it's Coach O'Neill, is Duke Williams. He played at Auburn, and I think he spent some time with the Bills. And, I know NFL success doesn't always correlate to arena, but he kind of feels like one of those guys that could correlate well to arena ball. He's a smaller guy. Small. He's 6 foot, 230. He's a good addition to what we're trying to do to get the ball moved downfield and try to get those opportunities for other guys to make big plays. He's going to be really good. And I got another guy here. Let me see what his name is. Kenny Starks, 230, 6'2" linebacker from ULM. I think he's going to be a great addition too. There's going to be several guys that you'll see come in here this year that have proven themselves in college and that are really going to be those key pieces to get these other big name guys the ball, get these big name guys their roses too. But I'm excited about those two guys in particular. I'm excited about the guys we're signed to the offensive and defensive line. I'm a big guy by heart and by stature. So I love offensive defensive line play. And there's a couple guys that we have right now that I personally have taken from semi-pro that are kind of in our emergency roster type thing. And one's Antoine Baker. He's a shutdown corner. In 2024 in the CMFL, which is a pass-heavy league, he allowed 1 touchdown. And he's a hitter. And then there's another kid, Cody Hilbert, I think his name is, Tyler Hilbert. He's going to kill me for not remembering his name. He's from St. Joe, and he's like a house. He's huge. And he lives in an RV and has a family, and he's like, Coach, I'll go wherever. And so those guys I'm excited for, to get them an opportunity here at this level. And there's tons of others like this. I wish I could share this with you. This database I have of like emergency roster guys, it's just talent after talent after talent from semi-pro.
Love it. Love it. Cody, do you have any more questions?
Yeah. So going from Arena Football 1 back to the NAL, what's the transition knowing that you're going to have shorter bus trips, more localized rivalries compared to what you had the season before, going all the way to Washington and Oregon and New York, things along those lines where the travel is going to be much smaller, more buses, obviously, shorter bus trips, I guess. Is that going to breed more towards the scouting when it comes to you can now localize players within Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Oklahoma within that area compared to going nationally? What are your thoughts on being more localized compared to scouting out fully across the nation?
That's a great question, man. And I really, unfortunately, I wasn't here, for that long haul stuff. I love close rivalries. I think it's the best thing that happened for football. I was so irritated when they went away from Oklahoma and Oklahoma State because I'm a Sooner guy. I love that in-state rivalry. I love those close matchups because it's really intimate in travel. It's really intimate in how each other, and Nebraska's not too far away. The rivalry I'm excited about is Beef and Liberty. I think it's going to be electric. I'm very excited about it. Taking the travel down, as you guys know, anytime you travel, whether it's semi-pro, arena, NFL, it's taxing, man. It's taxing on the coaches. It's taxing on the budget. It's taxing on the players. And I feel like you get a better product when those trips are short. When you don't have to drive all the way to freaking Washington or New York or wherever on a consistent basis, you get a better product from the guys because they're excited to go to Nebraska. They're excited to go to southwestern Kansas. I think it's going to be better for the game. I like the idea of us having closer rivalries. And I don't know. I haven't talked to the other guys about how they feel about the rivalry with the Beef. I love Coach Negron to death. I think he's awesome. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to see our guys compete. One thing that is really cool is week 1 is like a preseason game for us. It's going to be against a semi-pro team, the Joplin Assailants, and Coach Donnell Williams and those guys down there. Some of our guys from the crew actually play for them. So that's going to be really good exposure for that semi-pro team to get up there and get to play arena to kind of see what it's all about. Because everybody wants to play arena until you play arena and get punched in the mouth by some grown men who do this for a living. And so it's going to be a really good opportunity for those guys to see that. And I think having the closer games allow these teams to pull from these semi-pro circuits a little bit more because they're more familiar with the area and familiar with the teams.
Krish, you have anything?
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering, so when do you guys report to camp, and kind of what position battle are you most excited for?
So I believe I have this right. I believe it's going to be the second week of February. I could be wrong. I've got it written down in there, actually. The one I'm excited about is going to be Noah Hembrick and seeing what he does against Duke Williams. I want to see these kids, like, because Duke has a lot of expectations because of his background, as a lot of these guys do. But there's just something about the kid. I'm really excited to see what he does against a corner like Noah. Noah's really good. He's got great length, great potential. I just feel like that matchup, our DBs and wide receivers, that's going to be very, very competitive. Obviously, our QB room's pretty deep, so it's going to be competitive as well. And then I'll always go back to the line. I'm super excited to see what some of our guys do under Dom's direction, kind of see how that not turns around so much, but how that kind of goes forward with his ideas and what he brings to the table. So, fun fact, Dom and I actually coach JUCO ball in Tulsa together. And so I'm a huge Dom Logan fan because I know what he brings to the table. And I think he's a really under-recruited offensive defensive line coach. And he's been invaluable to me in my career as far as like giving me advice, helping me out with the things to do, not to do, just when everybody's eyes are on you. So I'm excited for his guys to get work in for sure.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned the rivalry with the Beef before. Are there any teams that you kind of consider when you go up against them, especially early on, it's going to be a little bit of a measuring stick for where Salina is?
I mean, they're one of them, and I think it's hard to say because everybody in this league is good. Everybody, at the end of the day, it's like the NFL. Everybody's a pro player, whether you play for the Jets, which are freaking awful every year, or you play for the Chiefs or the Ravens. Like, everybody's a pro player. So I think one of the biggest tests for us is going to be Omaha, and I would think another one's going to be Pueblo. I've had some conversations with some of those guys up there. I feel like they're on point with what they're doing this year and some of the things that are coming out. Colorado, I guess, is going to be really good as well. I talked to one of their guys the other day, and they're super excited going into camp. So I think for me, just because of the history of the Beef and kind of that was my first exposure to arena, I think I'm more excited about that because I'm kind of like a kid living his dream. But I think we're going to have to bring it every week. It's a gauntlet. And if you want to get to that championship game, you've really got to perform week in, week out. You got to travel well, even though they're shorter trips. I think every week could potentially be a big week for us.
Definitely. Well, Mr. Mills, first of all, I want to thank you for your time this morning. Really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure learning more about your career and how you got to the Liberty. I think that's a really awesome story, how you kind of were just hitting people up until somebody gave you an opportunity. I can definitely relate to that. My final question for you, I mean, what's going to make Salina stand apart this season for fans? I mean, like, why should they come out to games and watch the Liberty?
I think you're going to see a lot of guys that are hungry to win, that are hungry to get that ring. That was the one thing that Coach O'Neill and I talked about in our initial conversation was he asked me what my goal is for the Liberty, for bringing guys in. And I said, well, I'm not here to have fun. I'm here to win championships. I've fortunately been a part of staffs that have won more than we've lost. And I like the way rings look. So I think that's why we do it. But I think they're going to see a lot of explosive guys, and they're going to see a lot of good guys that are working out in the community too. A lot of good kids, a lot of kids that they can invest into. And if anybody's listening to this and they're on the fence about coming out to the Liberty and seeing them play this year, just come out and check it out. You're going to meet a lot of good kids. You're going to meet a lot of cool coaches. And I think the fan base from the Liberty is going to just grow exponentially with the way that this season goes, with the kids we brought in, and with the way that we're going to conduct ourselves on and off the field. And I think it's a product they can be proud of.
Love that answer. Cody, any questions for Mr. Mills?
I'm fresh out.
TJ?
No, I'm out too. I just want to say, man, good luck this season, and thank you so much for coming on. It was great hearing your background.
I appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. In that case, do you have any final words for fans or anybody you want to shout out at home?
Just to my wife, keeping it locked down. I don't know if you can hear all the kids trying to kill each other for snow day in here, but I got 3 boys and they're going nuts. So I appreciate you guys having the time to have me on. Obviously, as a new guy to this always helps me with exposure as well, and it helps the team and kind of grows our fan base a little bit. And that's all I got, man. Go Liberty.
One last question before you get out of here. If a player wants to come play for the Liberty, how do they get a hold of you?
Man, so the best thing they can do is go on our website, send an email. They can shoot me a text directly. I'm all over Facebook and TikTok and all this stuff that I've never been a part of. They can shoot the link and email. They can shoot me a text. That email goes to me, to our media director, Miss Katie Junk, and goes to our head coach, O'Neill. And then somebody will get back with you, usually me. Give me a couple days because things are kind of crazy, but I've got about a 2 to 3 day lead time. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your day, sir.
Thanks, man. You too. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, we're back. So once again, thank you to JD Mills of the Salina Liberty for joining us this morning. It was interesting to hear his path and how he got to where he's at today. So staying on the NAL, there's a couple topics that we had brought up that I thought were good to talk about. And the first one was Danye Dixon has signed with the Punishers, spent some time at CSU Pueblo. And Krish, what was the other school you went to?
UNLV.
Thank you. I don't know why I was blanking that at the time. What are your thoughts? We'll go to Krish first on this one. What are your thoughts on that move for Pueblo?
Yeah, lengthy corner, right? He's good in the open field. He struggles in coverage. Lengthy corner sometimes struggle with man coverage. But, he spent time in Green Bay, spent time with San Antonio and camp. And so I think it's a good move for them. He's a local guy. He brings some physicality in the DB room, and I think that's something Tay, I give Tay a lot of crap, but Tay loves physical DBs. He loves physical DBs. So having another physical DB, I love the DB room in Pueblo. I'm high on the DBs. They got good DBs. They got good, young, hungry DBs, and that's kind of the model they want to go. So it's a good move for them, for sure.
Agreed. Cody, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, he's, like Krish mentioned, he's been with Green Bay and San Antonio in the indoor football league, so it definitely gives him some experience, whether it's just practices or getting into a couple of games himself. So I don't necessarily know if it's true veteran of the game, but he's been around to the point where he knows the coaching, he knows the terminology, he knows how the game goes regardless of the rule sets and stuff like that. So it is veteran of the game when it comes to that. So it's a pretty good pickup. We'll see how it translates to how they want to scheme it up on defense for Pueblo and how the rest of the season goes. Because again, I can't sit there and say that he's 100% roster certified because people get released in the middle of the season. I'm not trying to wish bad juju on the guy. So we'll see how it goes with him, but it's a really good signing for me.
Absolutely. TJ, any thoughts on that before we move on to the next NAL topic?
Oh yeah, just to piggyback off of what they said, he brings some experience, already knows the game a little bit, and he's a local product. So it seems like a win-win. Good luck to him, and hopefully he can stick on and make a name for himself.
Absolutely, and like you just said, a local product. I love the fact that they finally got some guys from CSU Pueblo on the Pueblo Punishers. I think that's a really smart move. If when it makes sense. Obviously, not every guy that comes out of CSU Pueblo is going to make sense for them, but the more you can get that going on, I think the more you'll build a local presence, and then names that people recognize from following CSU Pueblo. They can go right over it and then watch them play their professional career. So I think that's a good move for the Punishers. But the next big topic for the NAL is one that may have slipped by some people's notice this week. But our good buddy CJ made it apparent to me and that we kind of looked up and found out that Ralph Green seems to have a little bit of an axe to grind against the Omaha Beef now that he's with the Sioux City Bandits. He put out a story that basically called out a lot of the members of the Beef because he wasn't brought back for 2026, and now he is a member of, again, the Sioux City Bandits. So adding a little bit of extra fire to the I-29 rivalry. So I wanted to kind of go around the horn and kind of ask you guys. I'm like, obviously the Beef and Sioux City players go back and forth a lot. Tyler Lowenstein was with Sioux City last year. He's with the Beef this year. That seems to happen quite a bit between these two teams. Why would there be this kind of disdain for Ralph, considering how things ended with Omaha with him? Let's go to TJ first.
Hey man, I just love it when you can add some fuel to a fire, and here's what we have. Instant rivalry intensified. So, I mean, it's just classic sports, man. Whenever you feel like you've been wronged, especially as a player or a coach from an organization, man, you want to go in there and you want to raise holy hell the next time you play that team. And, obviously if you're the Beef, you're looking at him saying, man, I hope we come in and wipe the floor with you. So it's good for the sport and it's good for the rivalry, and I'm all for it. Personally, I can't really say anything because I'm a little bit of a grudge holder myself, so I can't knock him for it.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, talking from your coach's perspective, TJ, does that fire you up? Like, are you the kind of coach that's like, screenshotting that, blowing it up, putting it on the wall in the locker room? Like, how do you approach something like that as a coach?
I mean, I'm not making a poster out of it, but definitely making it known, kind of whisper down the alley around the locker room, like, oh, hey, did you hear what he said? And guaranteed, man, the first game they play against him, he is circled. He is a primary player. Like, he is not going to have an impactful day. That's just, we're going to wreck his day. That's the kind of mindset that you have.
That's fair. That's fair. Coach B, you just joined us. I'm not sure if you kind of heard the subject we were talking about before you hopped on here, but there's a little bit of extra spice in the I-29 rivalry. Ralph Green kind of called out some members of the Beef after, playing for them in 2025. He's now with the Sioux City Bandits. At you as a coach, what do you think about stuff like that? Like, how do you approach it when another player that may have played for you in the past calls you out on social media? How do you handle that situation?
Like any other coach would. We can't control what other people say. Um, I can't control if it's just like I got players who's mad at me that I cut before. It's not that I cut you because I personally don't like you. I cut you because you just didn't fit what we were doing at the time or didn't buy into our system. So one of the two reasons. I don't have nothing against you personally. So for players, sometimes they take it a little personal when they get cut or they don't get signed back. Something like that happened with me. I just, hey, wish him good luck. And then when we see you, it is what it is on the field. Cause I'm gonna remember I keep receipts.
Makes sense. So are you the type of coach that's, kind of putting that up as bulletin board material for your guys before the game?
We're gonna talk about it. I don't even need to put it up as a bulletin. What's understood don't need to be said for real.
Makes sense.
Once we get to that game, just know he gonna have a contract on him.
That's fair. That's fair. Krish, what are your thoughts on these comments by Ralph?
So I'll back up a little bit. Ralph Green in the offseason was signed last offseason, was signed with San Antonio. Coach Minaj signed him. Ralph Green had a legal history, 2 incidents in college, and Coach Minaj found out about these issues. He kind of skipped the background check part and found out about these issues before training camp. He released Ralph Green. Ralph Green was a free agent. I remember seeing Ralph Green sign with Omaha ahead of their championship push, and I was shocked. I hit up Coach Negron. I was like, wow, like I didn't expect him to sign a player, and obviously, Ralph has a past, but he was, he went to court, everything. He was not guilty, but still, he does have a little bit of past, right? And so I was shocked to see, Coach McGurn give him a chance. The fact that he has the audacity to go and badmouth the team that gave him a shot at a championship is crazy to me. Like, do you know what he said? Like, what were the specifics of stuff he said in that?
It was pretty personal. He tagged specific players and coaches on the team, and basically it was a video of him calling them out by name. It seemed like he was really upset. Like he felt like he was done wrong somehow by the Beef by not being brought back, and
So
I
he
feel like
took it
that was a
personal.
lot.
He
Yeah,
took it
he took it
personal.
personal, and which I get it. At some point, like, maybe this is all because he signed with the Bandits, and to him, he knows he has to see the Beef, so he's he's trying to kind of like build it up in his mind. So maybe it's just a personal
That's
thing, but I don't
that's
know.
different, Sam. That's different, Sam. It's a better way to build up a rivalry.
I would agree. I would agree that this is not
politely
how I
talk
would
stuff.
approach things, but
He sounded more like a bitter baby mama who's mad that he didn't get brung back, and he's throwing bad shots at everybody. But what he doing? You got to realize some of these guys was your teammates, and other coaches and other players in other leagues look at this too. So you're not only hindering yourself from a PR standpoint, you untouchable now for some other teams. So you got to look at that stuff when you do that. You got to be marketable as a player, even when you're cut.
absolutely. Cody, any thoughts on this situation?
The Omaha Beef are everyone's Super Bowl, baby. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, like Coach B's kind of talking about, you're always networking here. You're going to burn bridges if you're going to take stuff super personal. I'm not saying you can't take things personally, but at the same time, if you're willing to burn those bridges and ignite rivalries and go like this, there's an opportunity that you also get blackballed, and there's things that can go around. I don't know the guy personally. I've never really heard of him, but at the same time, if all these rumors and all the screenshots and receipts and everything are true, then if you're going to go out that way, maybe you're going out with a blaze of glory. But I don't know. Like I said, you don't have to keep it cordial 24/7, but at the same time, like, you got to know where your bread's buttered at some point.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think in my particular situation, if I'm a player, I'm probably not going to feed into this rivalry. There's enough spice behind it already, right? You don't need to add any motivation for the Beef to come into your house. So I personally wouldn't be poking the bear. That's just me. But, I know there
But
are
for
some
me,
players that
like
kind of add
honestly,
that.
and yeah, and like for me, like I feel like that whole Sioux City Omaha I-29, they hate each other, whatever. But there's always been a level of respect. I think that respect, in my opinion, is starting to fade away a little bit. And you see with Coach Rez's comments this week, right off the bat, one day in the job, right? He's already going for Coach McGrone already, right? 2 times in one day. And the thing is, you see like ownership, they're liking that post. The owner liked it, or president. Coach Loban liked the post. He put a heart on the post. Like, and you can tell it's like it's really personal for them this year to beat Omaha. And I think I-29 it just got even better. So I can't wait.
Yeah, but something you have to say with that too is social media is not real life. So just because they're liking those posts doesn't mean that there's drama. It could be
Right.
that manufactured, like respectable, like, oh, he's talking S, like, and then they're still texting each other behind the scenes, going like, "Hey, what's up?"
Sure, yeah.
So
Y'all got to realize
But I
that
mean,
rivalry
Lorenzo
been
Brown.
going on
Don't you think
for a
Lorenzo
while too,
Brown wants
though.
to beat the beef? Like Lorenzo Brown must want to beat the beef. He must.
Now that I can see him going to Sioux City just for that reason, for a revenge tour.
Me too.
But you
100%.
gotta realize this rivalry been going on before a lot of us been around. This rivalry been going on before like early 2000s. So you Sam said, you don't need to get hyped up for this game. This like a Raiders Chiefs game or Eagles Cowboys game. You automatically know what it is every time you step on the field when Sioux City, Omaha hits the field.
Absolutely. And actually, I apologize. Josh Resignalo, as we have all learned, has been hired by the Sioux City Bandits, which is obviously an interesting move. He has a kind of an offensive background. He's coached defense at times as well, but he's kind of known for his offensive coaching. And he has joined Sioux City, which already has an offensive and a defensive coordinator. And then, as Krish said, he had kind of made some comments that were directed sort of at the beef. So yeah, there's already a little bit of extra spice since he's gotten involved. As we all know, Coach Resignalo and Coach Negron go way back in their coaching careers. So there's going to be a lot of interesting games between the Bandits and the Beef this year, I think. So yeah, anyway, we're going to go ahead and run through some of these comments real quick. Connor Hickman Potany has been paying attention, and if you don't know what this is yet, that's because you haven't heard about our giveaway. We are going to be giving away a piece of the Sioux Falls Storm's turf that they once played on, and if you want a chance to enter to win that turf, all you have to do is go find Indoor and Arena History on TikTok, go follow them, find the contest keyword, hint, hint. Connor just dropped it in the chat. So here's the 3-step process. Join our mailing list at shadysportsnetwork.com and comment the contest keyword live during Around the Indoor Football World. So we do this show every Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern time at any point during a live episode. If you comment that contest keyword, you are automatically entered, and we will be picking via email address that is entered in our emailing list at shadysportsnetwork.com. So if you want a chance to win that turf, definitely go ahead and enter that contest. But go ahead and run through some of these other comments. Zachary Kent says, didn't Memphis get a new team? Yes, they did. The Memphis Hound Dogs. If you want to learn more about that team, we spent a lot of time on them last week. So definitely would recommend you go check out that episode. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you hit the like button. That pushes this content out to other viewers and helps us, kind of grow this show. Dorsey Golston, the head coach of the St. Joe Goats, says, keep them receipts. You got to play and see us at some point in the season, referring
And
to
100%.
some of the...
I mean, if you look at it, right, in the last 8, if you look at that, like Omaha 8-0 against Sioux City in the last 8, and so like those are receipts right there too.
Sioux
So
City ain't won in the last 8 matchups.
yeah, they're 10
Vice
and
versa.
then
Isn't it
I'm-
Omaha
like,
8-1?
No, I said Sioux
Omaha
City
8-0
hasn't
against Sioux
won.
City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have
Sioux
thought they
City
were
hasn't beat
8-0.
Omaha.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of tight games, but Brian says Kerry Stark's coming back. Kerry Stark's actually, I believe, was with Salina last year, right? I think he was hurt at one point. But yeah, he's back with Salina at this point. And then Dawson Hilbert, who was mentioned by Coach Mills a little bit ago, joining us. Thank you for tuning in, man. Really appreciate you joining us and commenting. A couple other comments here. Brian Shoemaker says, I wonder if the insurance is the player's responsibility as an independent contractor in an international work agreement. That's possible, but who knows? Another comment here.
I think that's what they was hitting at, Sam. Because I heard they do have workman's comp. So you just carry your own for the international side. When you go over, it's workman's comp too, but you still need to have your own insurance, from what I was informed, talking to a few people.
Interesting. I think Beaumont and Oceanside are slated to play each other the first couple weeks, It has an interesting dynamic considering the questionability of those two teams. That's a good point. Something that I did not spend a ton of time on the last couple of weeks, but yeah, some of that scheduling for the AF1 is interesting when you look at it that way. Talks cheap. I'll show you. Dustin Hilbert says, Roger Beck checking in. Hope to see you all at the draft. We definitely will be trying to make it out there, Roger. And then, as said before, please remember, hit that like button. So we've gone through the IFL topics. We've talked about all the other leagues. We have the AF1, which there is some pretty big news coming out of that kind of ties in with the AFL. So which league would you guys like to go to next, AF1 or IFL? Any votes?
Dealer's choice.
All right. In that case, we're going to go to the AF1, and we'll kind of transition back to the IFL. The first thing that I wanted to discuss today, and I thought this was kind of an interesting comment or post, were Chuck Jones' comments. So on January 19th, so 5 days ago, I believe it was like Tuesday, good morning, y'all. I'm especially motivated this morning. You can see a guy tear down your program and talk bad about you without ever meeting you, then goes all the way across the country to help another team and not the one in his backyard. Lives in Portland and talks bad about the Oregon team. I look forward to seeing this person in the AF1. I've heard the chatter. He tried taking my job as a coach before I even got started coaching. Chuck doesn't have the experience. He's not even going to finish the season. Now it's fair game. I'll see you on the field, buddy. There's nothing like having a hater you don't even know about. I see you now, though. It's really on. You better hope Oregon don't show up on your schedule because we're putting up 100. Believe it. Welcome to the AF1, buddy. I'll leave the light on for you. So, first of all, it's pretty obvious who he's talking about here, right?
Yes. But the crazy thing, Sam, I know both of them well, and the person he's talking about never once to me, I've had numerous conversations, said anything bad about that organization or Chuck. Sometimes I think coaches take things a little too personal as well, or take things out of context. Just because someone's right in your backyard, he's not obligated to help you. People got to stop being entitled. Uh, Nowadays, it's pay what you weigh. If you want somebody to come and help you, pay. You got to pay for adequate help. You can't just expect everybody to work for free. That's not the world nowadays. I don't care if I'm in your backyard. If I got a job that's paying me a certain amount of dollars and then you want me to come in and work for free, why would I stay at home? Doesn't make logical sense. We got to start being realistic here. And it's nobody's job to help anybody out. When you sign up to be an owner, GM, head coach, it's your job to have all your ducks in place. Like we got to stop blaming everybody else. Like, hey, competition and just being realistic. Oregon's a great organization, but you're not putting up 100 on anybody.
Fair points. Cody, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Sure makes for an interesting offseason, doesn't it? I don't really have too many thoughts on it per se. Like Coach B kind of mentioned it a little bit. Like even Dawson Hilbert said in one of the things, like, talk is cheap. I'll show you, man. Like it's one thing to post it on social media. If you're going out there throwing 100 up on someone, fine. If you're not, then you've got to eat the crow. That's the downside about, talking your shit and then not being able to back it up. So to throw that stuff out there, I don't know. I mean, it's just, it's to me, it's a nothing burger in the sense of like, this isn't the first coach that'll do this. This is not going to be the last coach. It's what are you going to do on the field? Because no matter what, that's where the game's being played. It's not like these coaches are squaring up in a Denny's and fighting. So like, that's where we have it. You let the teams go out there and play. And if your coaching is better than the others, you're going to hang 100 on them. So
just throwing blows over pancakes and Denny's.
Hey, my Grand Slam breakfast is a little cold, so I'm going to throw blows.
By the way, congratulations on your new job as Krish's PR agent. I'm sure it's tough.
I've had to wrangle him in a couple of times already. So
I believe it. He's actually very mellow today, so you must be doing a great job.
It's the pep talk I gave him before we started, and I slipped him a little pill in his coffee.
Oh, okay. Well, just for the record, this is all a joke, everybody. That's a joke. Awesome. Hashtag square up at the Denny's. I love it.
That's
Love
the
it.
real indoor war.
Yeah. Now we know. That's what's really going on behind the scenes. All right. So a couple of other big pieces of news out of the AF1 and sorry, Krish, what are your thoughts on these comments? I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about Meadow Lemon, right? Meadow Lemon is a GM for the Minnesota Monsters. Um, it's it's disappointing to me. I mean, I like Coach Jones as a person. I think Coach Jones is a good human being. I think he really cares about his players. Um, Even though I think sometimes he thinks he has more resources than he actually does. But I think sometimes, he's trying his best. He really is. I mean, he took over ownership, whatever. But this is really difficult. It's really really difficult to be in this position because it's hard when once you cross the line, on the unprofessional side, it's kind of hard to take it back, as a coach. And you're a head coach, you're a leader in the league with guys like, I mean, Damon Ware is as PR trained as they come. You know what I mean? If you hear Damon Ware on any podcast, any interview, he sounds like a robot. He's so well trained. Darren Arbette, same thing. Cedric Walker, same thing. You know what I mean? So you're in a league full of guys, and then you have you going off on Facebook. It's kind of difficult. You know what I mean? To gain respect throughout the league. And so I think Coach Jones just needs to block out the noise and focus on the team. That D line is looking horrible. The DB room is terrible this year. So he doesn't even have a defensive coordinator named. So I would focus on the roster and the team before, and let your team do the talking for you on the field. So
Speaking of
sure.
talking, the dear TAL, whoever wins this year, it's runner up, and just a little sly face, and then Coach Rosignolo, I'm sure, has squared up in Denny's a couple times, throwing out a laughing emoji. TJ, what are your thoughts on the comments?
Man, it doesn't really bother me. The first thing I thought of was, man, this is why arena and indoor football is great, right? Because if this was the no fun league, man, there'd be suspensions and fines for these guys. But instead, it's just fair game. Hey, man, this is awesome PR, man. You're intensifying things. You know, I do want to piggyback off Cody though. You know, when you make especially a public remark like that, man, you got to say something that's slightly more realistic to follow through on, because I don't see him scoring that many points. No offense.
That's fair. Minnesota's a tough
maybe
team.
maybe you should have just came out and said, "Hey, man, we're beating you by like 3 tutties or something like that." But don't say we're dropping 100 on you.
Yeah, hey, Chuck Jones is that guy though. He's
And I
he's
and I
very
wanna
much
and I wanna say something
believer in
too.
himself.
We've given Darren Clark a lot of shit or whatever, but Darren Clark hasn't said a word this entire offseason. He's been quiet. He's been silent, and that to me, as a first year
Professional
head
living.
coach in the F1, and like I'm really impressed with his level of like he hasn't said anything. And in the roster he has in Minnesota, yeah, they're spending money, but it's still a good team. It's a good team all around. And I know the OG Duluth people, they don't want to admit it, but they got a nice team in Minnesota. They do.
Hey, Speedy from my era, we played together. He ain't gonna do much talking. He gonna let his players do the talking, and that's how you do it. But we got to get all the other coaches on the same page.
That's fair. So a little bit of quarterback news that came out earlier this week. Josh Jones has signed a contract with Nashville Cats. Previously, a big-time player in the IFL, was with Bay Area. Previously, had signed a contract with the Tulsa Oilers for the 2026 season. That had also signed TJ Edwards. So there's some context to the situation that came up earlier this week, that we had heard some reports on, that Josh Jones was not necessarily thrilled with the situation in Tulsa and wanted a trade out of Tulsa. And I have a hunch that this might be a leverage move, with all of that information out on the table for you guys to kind of digest as you give your opinions here. Let's go to Cody. What are your thoughts on Josh Jones, and kind of give your thoughts on your impact for both leagues and both teams for that matter?
Yeah. So for Josh Jones, signing with Tulsa, when I go through and do my transactions, and shameless plug, when I do my off-season updates and stuff like that for the In the Alley YouTube channel, it kind of perked my ears up. It kind of gained my interest of like, all right, so they're signing Josh Jones, which makes you believe that when TJ Edwards had a season-ending injury, which I think was a torn ACL or something, I believe, you were wondering, why are they going to carry two quarterbacks? And then regardless of what you say, why are they carrying two quarterbacks at such a high price? That makes you think that TJ Edwards was not going to be ready for the entire season. Well, then if he's not ready for the entire season, when is he going to be good to go? Because then you're still carrying both of these quarterbacks for the entire season or half the season or whatever. So one of them is going to have to start. Now, if TJ Edwards is going to get back sooner rather than later, then he's probably going to be the starter, knowing the offense and things like that. So Josh Jones potentially wanting out. He wants a place to start. He was starting at Bay Area, winning playoff games. He was, or did he win a playoff game? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I can't remember. But he was Northern Arizona before that. I mean, he's a very, very, very good quarterback. He's won accolades in the Indoor Football League, man. To have him sign with Nashville, it doesn't necessarily say, whoa, what's going on with the Indoor Football League? But it really makes you wonder, going, what's kind of going on with Tulsa as a whole? Like, nothing drastic, like, oh, the team's going to fold or anything. I don't believe that at all. But you're like, okay, is this just, bitter lover scorn, where he's like, I want to go start somewhere, which is what I think it is? Or is there something where it's like, is TJ Edwards fully healthy? On the AF1 side, this is just a huge quarterback room with Tyler Kolka, Josh Jones, Caleb Lowe, and I'm forgetting on the fourth guy, but that is a bit. Sorry,
what? Shea Spencer. Sorry to interrupt.
You're good. But yeah, that gives leverage to Nashville that if they have his rights now, and whether he's suspended or released in the Indoor Football League, now you have chips on your table to leverage quarterbacks for Nashville, where you can trade them for other assets. So that's really good too.
So I wanted to pull up this video, and I probably should have played this for you before I pulled it up, or before you gave your opinion. But this is TJ Edwards, something he posted 2 days ago. So obviously fairly recent. And I don't know about you guys. Looks like he's looking pretty good so far to me.
I mean, it looks good. Question is, I mean, he's putting weight and pressure on it. What is he going to do when he takes off? And then again, it's always the age-old question with any knee or leg injury. It's not just privy to the indoor league, but some players get scared trying to run out there again. Some players get nervous. Now, I'm not trying to put words or actions in his mouth, but again, it's always that first contact of, all right, I got hit. Let's go.
No, 100%.
And the thing is, man, like why is he rushing back to get healthy? He's not rushing back to play for the Tulsa Oilers. He's rushing back to play for the Houston Roughnecks in the UFL. They have two quarterbacks signed, right? And he's been very vocal on Twitter and LinkedIn about his desire to want to move up and play in the UFL or CFL. And he knows in the back of his mind after this injury, those opportunities are very slim. Those chances are very slim for him to move up. So I think that's why he's rushing back. And I'm concerned that he's rushing back just for that reason, in my opinion.
I kind of piggyback off that too. I don't feel he should rush back that. And I think Josh Jones made a quick move, because TJ, even in my opinion, TJ wouldn't have been the starter. He would have been the starter in Tulsa. He would have got in. He would have played there, because I don't think Josh is ready. Even looking at that video, I've seen Josh over years. That still look like he's still a little injured. It ain't no point of rushing back right now. And I do
You got the switch around. TJ's injured.
Yeah, TJ's
I
injured.
just wanted to clarify that. You're saying Josh looks injured.
Yeah,
Like, no.
TJ still look injured. So
You're good.
rushing back, and I think it was more so rushing back for the UFL, because he's been vocal on that. But the your health is more important, because like TJ said, you're gonna be scared to run. Your mindset, you might, when you take your knee, take that first hit, how does it hold up? You know what I'm saying? Those are things you got to worry about. So rushing him back is really beneficial to his career, and I don't think it's worth it. So I think Josh going to Nashville right now was the wrong move. Plus, now you, like Cody said, you give Arbet chips. Arbet one of them guys. Puka is the starter out there. He's just making that training camp a little more competitive. You could have been a starter in the IFL, and now you possibly suspended over there.
And okay, that is a factor here, and I wanted to bring up this comment. Coach Davis would know better than me, but wouldn't he be suspended for signing with an AF1 team after already being under contract with an IFL team? So if that was the case, the player would have no leverage. Ricky Burtz, yes, Josh will be suspended. A lot of players these days hate competition, which is crazy. Not saying Josh is running from competition, but that move was crazy.
Well,
So
I just I wanna bring this up, and I think this is gonna be really controversial, but I believe Josh Jones, body of work wise, can really beat out Tyler Coca. I think from a footwork perspective, from a stat perspective, 2 years, 96 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 42 on the ground, right? Highly successful. And you look at his, average yard per pass, 11 yards. Tyler Coca averaged 11 yards per pass too. But now you add a running element with Josh Jones too, where you can run. He averaged 7.2 yards on the ground, I believe, this past year. So
So why don't
his
you stay
level,
in Tulsa then, where you know you're gonna automatically
because
start?
that's the thing, you're competing against the equal in the game, right? TJ, he's won an MVP. He's had all the success in indoor football, and he's had 3 quality seasons. You've only had 2, and he's played in Billy Back's offense before too.
And Billy
That's
probably
another thing
stated to
as well.
Josh that TJ's his guy. So that might have been why he made the move as well.
I also want to push back a little bit because you're talking about Josh Jones rushing yards in a league where you're not really going to run the ball too much. It's
Sure.
AF1. So I'm not trying to say that those are null and void. If he needs to get out of the pocket, he absolutely can. But that's where I would push back and say that if you think Josh Jones is the better quarterback, it depends on the league rules and stuff. I would almost take Kolka since he has been in that system. If we're talking systems, Kolka's played with Nashville. So I would almost take him with Nashville, knowing what he knows, instead of Josh Jones coming over and having to learn the new rules. Which, I mean, they're all roughly the
But
same. But
hold
you know
on,
what I mean.
Cody. Hold on, Cody. From what I'm hearing, they don't have an OC, so you don't know what system Nashville gonna be running right now.
4 verts and chuck it deep. It's AF1 rules.
well,
I
okay,
know.
hold on. There have been
That's crazy.
offenses that have added elements of the indoor game in. Southwest Kansas, Salina did it, and it would not shock me at all if Nashville started to incorporate some of that with the right player. Obviously, Tyler Kolka is not that guy. He's not the mobile guy that Josh Jones is. But, maybe that's why they bring in a Josh Jones in terms of the Nashville aspect of things, because, the other guys on the roster are
And
more pocket passers.
also, I want to bring this up. And I just thought of this. There's a certain offensive coordinator in Kentucky named Reggie Gray. Where did Reggie Gray coach this past season? In Bay Area. And Josh Jones played for Bay Area. That's a potential connection right there. You see that? Like maybe down the line? If he doesn't beat out Coco.
My thing,
one more.
if I can interject, sorry. Like they made, and I know most indoor and arena teams do this, but Nashville made a huge hoopla about bringing Kolkamania back and everything like that. To have him usurped by Josh Jones when you've had all this hype of we got our quarterback, that's almost bad PR for them, bad marketing. You'd be like, hey, we've got our guy back. We've got these graphics and everything. He's not the starter. So, I mean, like, again, you want the better player to win the competition, obviously. But, I mean, that just kind of looks bad on you going like, we got our guy back as he rides the bench.
That's fair.
It's
and
also
this is
Tyler Coker's commitment to football, right? Like he's
And
obviously, he's having
I'm
childhood and
pretty
everything.
sure they're not gonna be paying Coca to be a backup.
No, not the money they're
probably
paying.
not.
But that's the thing. Why a lot of people say, why did Josh Jones, like I've heard this from multiple people, why didn't he sign with Tucson? Why didn't he sign with Green Bay? Why didn't he sign with all these teams? Because the money, I know how much he was making in the Bay Area, right? And it was a significant amount of money, right? Compared to other indoor players. So he's not going to go from making what he was making in the Bay Area to go make $250 in Tucson or $300. Like that's not an option for him. He's a money guy, so I mean, he's gonna make money in Nashville, so this is why he.
And yeah, that's the comment I wanted to get. Are the Cats paying more?
Yes.
Technically, the AF1 does not have a maximum salary cap. They have a minimum. They have to pay every active player $400 per game, but that's the only that's the only benchmark. You can go as high as you want. Basically, it just all has to be via paperwork. So it has to go through the league. So with that being said, Nashville has been known to pay guys pretty well. So that is a factor here. If he's going to
And this
Tulsa,
goes all the way back to when I was sitting, when I was at the Arena Crown in Albany, I was sitting next to two sponsors of the Nashville Cats, and one of them turned over and looked at the other, and he said, "We had zero excuse not to win this game today," and he was pissed, like he was really mad that they lost the game, like, and because they're investing money in the product. So what did they do this offseason? Darren Arbette and President Clinton's they went out and they got some real talent. They fired the defensive coordinator Terry Foster. They got Sergio Gillum, right? A veteran DC, right? Then they go and and Sergio Gillum is a DB guy, right? Defensive back guy. So they got him to come in and improve the DBs. They got Malik Honeycutt, Hall, all these guys. So and they improved the D line as well. So it's just really interesting to see Nashville make all these changes.
TJ, it looks like you had something to say.
Yeah, I like what you said before about him being a running quarterback option. I mean, obviously it's Colcomania there, but it's almost like branding yourself. You leave the situation with Tulsa, you come over and now you're in the AF1. You have Darren Arbette as your head coach. So even if you're coming over to be, say, a package quarterback, since you're more of a running quarterback, but either way, your head coach now is like one of the biggest connected head coaches in the entire sport. So I think for him it was a smart move, because even if he doesn't latch on in Nashville, because obviously Colcomania is, Tyler Colca's the starter there. So either it's going to be kind of like maybe a two quarterback system, maybe because he's more of a running quarterback than Colca. But even if he doesn't stick in Nashville, between the notoriety with being in Nashville and Darren Arbette, I wouldn't be even a bit surprised if he's starting for another AF1 team by the time the season kicks off.
Yeah, I want to say that too. Like, it's not just an AF1 team, because I mean, Tulsa will have the rights if he's suspended. But if Josh Jones doesn't work out in Nashville, every single team, AF1, NAL, IFL, salivating to try and sign that guy, whether they trade for him, whether he's released by Tulsa, whatever the case could be. Like, that is a dude. Just plain and simple. I mean, you will line up and get that guy.
Coach Davis, maybe you can clarify this a little bit to me, because maybe I was misunderstanding. I've been under the assumption that it was at the discretion of the team whether he was submitted or as a suspension or as a release or as a trade of something of the sort. So I was under the understanding they still hold his IFL rights, and technically they don't have to make a decision right now. So maybe you can clarify that to me. And if I was in the wrong, I'll be in the wrong. It is
And
what
see,
it
I
is.
know Kentucky would love to trade for him. I know with that connection with Reggie Gray, like, come on now. Exactly, like Kentucky. That roster set up with him. Kentucky's a legit championship contender with Josh Jones at quarterback. I believe that.
Here's a comment that maybe leads into something that could have caused Josh Jones to leave Tulsa. Could have left because of other reasons and not be about playing time. So, there is definitely something there that makes a little sense. Here's Coach Davis to give us a little bit more details on the IFL situation.
So, good morning, guys. So if a player signs an IFL contract and then signs with another league, not being the UFL, CFL, or NFL, and the team has a right to release him if they do it before he signed the contract. Now that Josh is signed, they announced it in Nashville, and he's still on Tulsa's roster, he will get suspended for 1 calendar year in the IFL.
Gotcha. Okay, so that clarifies.
Tulsa, when they found out, had a chance to release Josh if they had wanted to, right? And for me, and I'll just talk my situation, right? I had guys signed. They end up signing with a team in the AF1. I ended up releasing those guys because if something doesn't happen, what if I wanted one back? Ironic enough for me, I got one of my guys back. right? So it's all depends on how you want to operate your organization and your team. Like you have a chance if a player communicates with you and says, "Yes, I'm going to sign here," like my guys did. My understanding is that Josh did not let them know that he was signing in Nashville, and they heard it secondhand. Hence, I don't see them. I could be wrong. I don't see them doing the kid any favors by just releasing him for somebody that potentially in the IFL. We'll just talk about the IFL. That the IFL would take him with whoever it is, right? Because that takes a good quarterback off the map in the IFL.
True.
Now, I do agree with you guys. I think the he has ability to go down and compete. But one thing he said a lot in his recruiting process is he wanted to be close to Colorado. Well, he's just going farther and farther away. So I do believe that it's a big trade bait situation for Coach Arbet. I mean, he's a mastermind in what he does. He's been around forever, right? Like, hey, I have something that other people are going to covet. What can I get from it? Like, what does he want? My thing. What does he want from Cedric Walker? That is the thing. There's a piece on the board in Kentucky I'm willing to bet that he wants, and this is going to get it for him.
Could be. Could be. I mean, Kentucky could definitely use a veteran quarterback. But out of curiosity, Coach, you said technically Tulsa has the ability to release him. Do they have the ability to trade him at that same time?
They could have traded him, right? But at the end of the day, now it's already public knowledge. He's already signed. Now that passes that has passed.
Gotcha.
And IFL transactions, just to be transparent, IFL transactions interleague did not come out yesterday, so they could have released him, right? Like once they hit, I mean, I'm sure they probably come out this morning. Once they come out, you'll know. So in his defense, Tulsa could have released him.
That's fair. That's fair.
Hey, Coach Davis, appreciate you for the Night House gear, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey,
TJ, yours actually goes out on Monday. I ain't forgot about you.
There you go.
So,
this is like deja vu. Oh boy.
So that's the thing. Like, that you take just when you think about the whole thing, it's you get players that you want to communicate with and you try to tell them, and Sam, you're in the business, B, you're in the business, TJ's had been in the business. Like, if you communicate with your coaches and your players and you build a relationship, most of the time they will be transparent and upfront with you. If players feel like you've done them dirty or whatever, and I don't know what the situation was with them getting Josh Jones. My understanding is it was completely conveyed. Hey, listen, TJ's coming off an injury. We don't know. Are you interested? Josh was like, yes, we're going to compete. And then now it's like, okay. And what people don't understand, I hope TJ's healthy. But that injury, I've seen it 4 different times in the CFL, and 1 out of the 4 came back on their regular schedule time. The other, it took an additional 3 months once you got into the game and once you started rolling around, getting tackled on that ankle. And
something tells me he just got a phone call. That's typically what happens when you're on the phone.
I can attest what he's saying though. I played for Coach Davis, and he always tell us, "My door is open. Don't if you got a better situation, let me know. If you don't feel comfortable here, let me know and come and tell me, and he'll find a place for you." So that's all you got to do with some coaches. Just be very transparent.
Yeah, it's also when the injury happened too. Like Edwards got hurt in the middle of the season. It wasn't like the very beginning of the season. So if you tack on those extra 3 months, add a year to it, it's almost like he's missing a year and a half of football, plus all the rehab and everything that he has to do too. Now, again, like everyone here, you don't wish ill will on the guy. You want him to come back healthy, but like we've said, it just depends on when he takes that first hit, when he has live game action, and if the game is slowed down enough for him coming back.
Absolutely, and I was, a lot of people don't realize, like, I was in the front row for the injury, So, like, you see a lot of people on Twitter talking about the injury. Like, I was in the front row, so I saw the injury firsthand. And I will tell you, there was serious discussion at that game. From him, I heard from, people on whatever, like, is he going to play football again? That was a serious discussion, right? And it was, and not because I'm not saying he can't rehab and get better, but it's a long road ahead. It's an emotional battle, right? He got hurt in the FCF too. So this is his second injury that he's dealing with, right? Like on his legs, like his play style too. So
for
Yeah,
me, it's yeah. For that though, to push back a little bit, like if he's going to play football again, like that's just the initial injury. Like you don't know until you go to the hospital, get the X-rays, the
right, of
MRIs,
course,
and
yeah,
all of
I
that
know.
stuff. So again, I'm not trying to discredit what you said, but if that's what they're saying, like how bad is this injury, where they're thinking it could be career-ending. I mean, that means it's probably pretty bad, but you won't know until obviously the rehab and stuff. I mean, hell, Adrian Peterson still won an MVP for coming back from an ACL, so I'm not saying it can't be done.
Yes. Just a minute.
Awesome. Well, that provides a lot more clarity because I just double checked again, and the IFL transactions have not come out yet. Still, so I'm
Coach,
sure we'll see them
Coach,
later
can
on
I ask
today.
this? What advantage or gain does Tulsa have if they trade his rights? Because every trade I see on the transactions page, unless it's a 1-for-1, it's always a future considerations that almost goes nowhere. So what leverage or advantage does Tulsa have if they sit there and say, hey, we're going to ship this guy off to Tucson, Orlando, Jacksonville, wherever? What leverage does Tulsa have?
Well, none.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, none, right? Unless they want a player, right? Like, I think what people don't like, you see futures considerations a lot of times on the IFL transactions, and it's up to the discretion of the team. For example, I traded Kevin Macias to Tucson when Coach Billy was there because Kevin lives in Phoenix, right? And that was for a player to be named later and something. I mean, I'll just tell you a bottle for the bus ride home. Facts, So I traded last year. I traded. I traded DJ Stuckey to Naz for future considerations, but that future consideration was to get Chizzy Numanakwe if they were eliminated from playoff contention. Right.
How'd that
So
work out?
perfect. Right. So it's up. A lot of these coaches, hey, okay, you don't have something I want right now. Prime example, I got Trent Tatum, linebacker from Tucson that they tried to make the trade and I signed him from Tulsa. Well, I sent Cornell Jones to Fishers because he's from Chicago and Dixie needed another linebacker for futures, but that'll be something based on after week 6, what we come up with for a player. We'll get into the season and those future considerations, what you don't see is the sub line underneath is what you want. And then both teams have to agree about it.
So you mentioned week 6. Is that something within the stipulations of like?
Yeah, so something just Dixie and I came up with, like, hey, we'll figure it out whether it's week 4, week 6. Let's see how people are doing. If either one of us have a need, then we'll figure it out.
So for Tulsa, it's easier just to keep this guy suspended and keep the rights with your team instead of saying, hey, we're going to ship him somewhere else where he can play against us. It's better just to keep him deactivated instead of saying, hey, go try your hand at AF1, what have you. We still retain your rights for a calendar year.
For sure. So now next year he'll be a restricted free agent for Tulsa. So if somebody wants him, they have to pay the restricted free agent fee and they goes that route, right?
Yeah, simple enough.
I mean, again, if guys would just communicate with people and their coaches, this problem gets resolved for the most part, right? You still have coaches you still have people calling players, and I'm gonna call this player to get to this player. Like there's always backdoor stuff going on. But again, that's why you just be transparent with guys and be like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Fair point. Fair point. It'll be interesting to see what happens with his rights designation for the IFL for sure. I was under the impression they still had some time to decide. I didn't realize that it was once he was announced that kind of window is closed. So that explains a lot. And it'll be, like I said, very interesting to see how they designated him.
Yeah, but again, the transactions, I know that Todd and them were traveling yesterday because some deals they had going on in the IFL. So obviously transactions didn't come out. I'm assuming they'll come out this morning, probably in an hour or so, and they come out interleague like through the coaches and the GMs, and then it usually takes a day and they get posted on the IFL transaction. So he could have been released. I don't see Billy Back doing that. I know Billy Back, and he did not know of Josh signing in Nashville. I was actually the one who told him because I had heard it and then confirmed it through Coach Arbet. So him not knowing, I'm sure that hold on a second, buddy. I'm sure that him and Marvin didn't appreciate that.
Probably not.
Assumption.
Probably not.
Assumption. I don't know that ain't facts, but that's just assumption.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like you're busy, Coach. We'll let you get
All
out
right,
of
man.
here.
You guys have a great one.
You as well.
Yeah, and I just want to touch real quick on the injury aspect. I was told way early on by someone who I consider a mentor, anytime a guy has an injury, just mentally add 25% of the time expected on top of that. That way you're not surprised when it does take longer.
It's not a bad way to operate. And honestly, I think that probably had something to do with Josh Jones' thought when he signed with Tulsa in the first place. He probably looked at it and said, TJ Edwards got hurt midseason. Worst case scenario, that competition isn't going to start until week 8, week 9, week 10, when I've already, been a starter for half the year. So it's a little odd to see him kind of make this move, but maybe there's other reasons why he decided to leave. But in other quarterback news, I have heard that apparently Sam Castronova will be returning to the Albany Firebirds, which, to the surprise of no one, he was not picked up in the UFL draft, unfortunately, and of course, the one landing spot that he was going to end up if he was not in the UFL or CFL, perhaps, was probably going to be Albany, and it sounds like he is returning for the 2026 season. Anything else in terms of the AF1 that you guys wanted to discuss before we move on to IFL topics?
Unless Tulsa gets Sam back before Albany do.
Oh, man, that would be nuts. Maybe that's what spurred all of this. That'd be crazy. All right.
Sam is going back to Albany. He's going to do great in Albany. He has all his receivers back. DeJuan Brown. Now you have Darian Townsend, Marquel Wade, Isaiah Scott is coming back too. Isaiah Scott signed with he actually didn't get picked up in the UFL, so he'll be back most likely. And then you got Tyree Chambers coming over from Bay Area who played at Maryland. The rich get richer in Albany.
Pretty much. It seems like
and then we got they got
Albany's-
Cheesy from Coach Davis in Vegas, so that's a nice move for Albany to get Cheesy in there.
Well, they also got Kevin Toot on the offensive line too from Vegas as well. Yep.
Thank you. And he was he was like a starting center for them in 2025, right?
Yep. It's just Albany's playground.
Yep, basically.
If Cheesy looking for a change of scenery in the IFL, if he ever wants to come back, I'm sure there's a good team down south that would love him.
If there's another devastating knee injury in the indoor football league this season, that's where Sam Castronova's probably going like last year. So
there you go. Well, it might be a little bit different this year because the AF1 season starts in April. So before the AF1 season was over by the time he left. So we'll see how that kind of affects everything. But I did want to throw out there, it's kind of funny. I recommended Cheesy to Damon Ware in 2024, and he did not sign him. He goes to Vegas, wins a championship, and then signs with Albany. Dude's from New York, so I don't think he's leaving Albany. But Cheesy is someone I would probably consider a little bit of a friend, great guy. Wish him nothing but success, and I'm glad to see that Albany signed him because, like I said, he's from New York. That's where he wanted to be. So
I love Cheesy, man. Like Cheesy's such a dog, and that's the thing. Like when we played against him last year, and I remember talking to some of our guys after the game. They're like, "Man, this dude is he's different. Like he belongs outdoors, and he really is." So like I said, if he wants to change the scenery in the IFL one day, I'm sure there's a team down south in the great state of Florida that would love to have him. So
Probably. He's got
Jacksonville?
NFL and CFL on his resume, so I imagine they would love him.
change of scenery can be healthy. So
All right, so let's go ahead and play one more last commercial break, and then we'll get into the IFL topics. There's quite a bit to talk about. A lot of it thanks to our boy Off the Wall, who's still in the comments. He did a great interview earlier this week with multiple members of the IFL, and they gave him a lot of information that was not previously known to us in the world of arena football. So thank you very much for Off the Wall for doing that interview and getting all that great information out to the fans. Because we're very excited to discuss it here in a moment. So if you have not caught that interview, highly recommend after the show you go over, subscribe to his YouTube channel and check out that interview. But also stay tuned if you're a TAL fan. We have a pre-recorded interview with Matthew Kayward coming up right after the IFL topics. So stick around. There's still a lot to come, unfortunately. It's been a long one, but you guys are hanging in with us, so we appreciate it.
Into the end zone, touchdown! Has to step up in the pocket, has some room in front of him, gets that three-step drop, here comes the pressure, passes complete to Flowers, back to pass, pressure coming, has somebody in the end zone, touchdown! Pressure's coming, Russell able to escape, still on his feet, and will be brought down at the, looking, has plenty of time, has Flores at the 15, he's at the 10, and Russell has it on the outside, like I said, he ain't taking a slide, Russell steps up, let's one go, Robinson makes the circus catch, then the alert snap, here comes the pressure, and the pass is going to be complete, and making the catch of Grant Russell, back to pass, looking, he has Robinson makes the catch, and will be brought down on the play by Isaiah Hall.
The mountains you climb, maybe stairs. The records you set, maybe personal. The fans you inspire, maybe family. No lights, no camera, just action. You don't have to be a pro. You just need HoneyStinger.
How many times a week? Like, three, four times, maybe.
I'm gonna pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Round of applause for Trey's, right? Great interview. Lots of great information that came out. TJ, I know you got to get out of here, man. Thank you so much for joining us this morning as usual. Can always trust you to be here. So can't wait to have you on next Saturday once again.
Oh, absolutely. And hey, for anyone watching any kind of alternative, I'll see you tomorrow for the UFL.
Absolutely. I forgot about that. Yeah, IFL or UFL show kicks off tomorrow. We'll be discussing the schedule, the coaching staffs, the rosters, a lot to unpack after the off season. It's not going to be a regular weekly show quite yet, but leading up to the season, we will get up to that weekly point. So you'll catch me and TJ on that show as well quite frequently. So look forward to that as well. Thanks, man. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
You guys as well. Everyone have a great week.
Absolutely. So shout out to TJ. As always, love having him on here. Like Trey said, round of applause for Trey for that interview. Make sure you go check that out. Krish, you got no shot at cheesy. Please remember to hit that like button. Boy, I am late. Project Superfan. Nah, man, you're just in time. It's the IFL section. We got lots to talk about. So,
hey, coach, hey, it's fine. We got someone who was released from you on the transaction log, man. My boy Latavius Burney coming back for 2026. He's gonna be he's in for a big year. So I'm excited to have him back.
Good player, solid player. Fits the IFL style very well, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and talk about some other transaction news here in a minute. But the big news out of the IFL is that all 119 games will be broadcast for free by the IFL in 2026. And that Seth Bonner and Ari Wolf are back to broadcasting indoor and arena football, which is obviously a great news for anybody who's a fan of the game. these guys have been doing this for many years, whether it's the IFL, the AF1, the AFL, back to the IFL now. So very excited to hear that they're coming back to broadcasting and have a inkling that Brent Stover had a little bit to do with that decision. So, Cody, what are your thoughts on this move for the IFL? After a year of the IFL network.
I mean, obviously, all the games being free, whether it's on Yahoo Sports, FanDuel Sports, or even on the Indoor Football League Network on an archive, is great. I'm going to be the contrarian. I don't mind Said and Ari, but I was really hoping that they would be giving, and they'll be giving other people other shots, and I know they'll be probably their Jim Nance, Tony Romo, core group, but it's like maybe it's just me being so used to the local guys, whether it was Mick Morninghoff from Massachusetts, Ralph Judkins down in San Antonio, Roderick and Ron in Quad City. Like I got so used to hearing the local guys that like I'm just not. Maybe I'll get used to it as the broadcasts go, but it's like, man, you're stealing something from the AF1, which is great, but I was hoping that they give other people other shots when it comes to that, but maybe they will. We don't know yet until the entire broadcast is released. So I've heard some names of some of the guys that could be calling games and doing like the studio shows and things along those lines. So it does give me optimism, but man, I like the local guys too. So sucks for them.
I'm with you on that. I would have rather like to see like local networks so those teams can build up they fan base a little bit more. I think it was a competition move still in Sid and Ari from AF1, which I don't really think it's a big move because Sid and them know more of the AFL style game, not the IFL style game.
Weren't they involved with the championship broadcast for the IFL a couple years ago?
They might have been. I know it's been Brent. Is it Brent Stover, right? It's been him and Curtis Riggs.
Okay, so maybe I'm misremembering because you're right. It was Curtis Riggs and Stover this
when
last
it comes
season.
to names, I mean, one of the names that was revealed on the Strictly Blizzard's podcast they do for Green Bay Blizzard with Joe Will Blackburn, who played for the Packers and the Giants. So that's a great name to have, and he's a local guy too. So and there's more names to come for sure, like Coach Davis said in the chat. And then they got Joey Bonadava involved. He was with Green Bay. He's one of the best in the business, in my opinion. So I'm glad to see him back.
It's a class act for him. Like I said, Dr. 4205 said it. Like the local flavor is fun, but at some points there was some really like home cooking for some of the broadcasts where like the team that they are rooting for. Obviously, it's the local team, but with that, you're really you're really hoping that the unbiases can come through, and I hope that they will whenever you have the more nationalized broadcast partners.
I mean for like Mick, in Mass and now Orlando, hopefully he's still with the team. If he is, that guy puts in so much work for broadcast. I mean, he has like 2 boards full of players with like information, depth charts. Like he treats it like the NFL. He works for ABC up in Buffalo, New York. So I hope he's back.
Here's a good comment. This is huge for the IFL. Professional broadcast is a big step in the right direction for any league, but I do understand the local guys' perspective as well. Excited for the future of the IFL. Obviously this isn't, as easy as I'm about to make it sound, but like it would be nice to see, one of these big entities be like, okay, we need to, include some of this local flavors. So let's grab the best of the best and include them in some of the game broadcasts, and even if it's just a guest chair for a game here or there or whatever, it would be kind of cool to see them include that. Whether or not it happens, we'll see. There's still a lot to be answered.
I'll say to piggyback off of that, for people that watch like Major League Soccer, if you go to Apple TV and watch any of the games, they have taken some commentators from the local broadcast. So like here in Kansas City for Sporting KC, they had a longtime commentator, Nate Bucati. He now does MLS games. It's not just Sporting Kansas City, but he'll go do like the Seattle Sounders or the Chicago Fire or whatever. So they do a lot of local things. But like I said, if they can do that with the Indoor Football League, that also would take some biases out. Like I don't know if they'll ever do it, but like to Chris's credit, if Mick Morninghoff was calling an Arizona NAS game, I mean, that would be cool because it gets him out of his element, but he's still professional enough that he can get the job done. So if they do something like that, that'd be pretty cool, but I don't think they will. They'll go more national with it.
Hey, Sydney, thank you for tuning in. Although I need to tell you, my friend, this is actually a year-round show. So we've been doing this nonstop, buddy. So anytime you want to tune in and join us Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern time, it is a pretty action-packed show every week. So definitely would love to see you in the comments more often. A lot of teams here as well. So if you're trying to market yourself, not the worst place to come. They may still do local, but arena football will grow more if they decide to focus more on local fan bases, which we all agree with. You know, I mean, I think at the heart of every arena team is a good local following. You know, so that is obviously important, but at the same time, you have to have a happy balance. Like Cody said, you know, some of the broadcasts were extremely biased, which is good to a certain extent, but if you could kind of cut down on that a little bit and just make it sound a little bit more unbiased, more professional in terms of presenting the league, not presenting a certain team, I think that would go a long way. A couple other pieces of news out of the IFL. Shaheem Battle, hopefully I pronounced that name correctly, from Jacksonville Sharks has signed to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So another CFL or Jacksonville player signing to the CFL. I believe that's 2 or 3, and I actually think this is the second or third that went to Winnipeg as well. So a little bit of a pipeline there from Jacksonville going up to Winnipeg. James Graham signs with San Antonio. This is a quarterback, which we'll spend some time talking about because I know Krish and Cody know quite a bit about him. Signs with San Antonio. So San Antonio gets another quarterback there, another young guy. So Krish, Cody, what are your thoughts on the signing of James Graham to San Antonio?
Before that, I just want to give credit to the Indoor Football League about the CFL stuff. Just kind of going through a quick look at the rosters and everything that I've put together. It's 20 teams or 20 players, to the CFL, whether on rosters or in camps, and that's not including the UFL guys or anything like that have transferred over. And we know things will be fluid, but to send 20 guys right now to the CFL from the Indoor Football League, that's speaking volumes about how well that the league is doing, sending these guys. It's a true developmental league like they want to be. They're giving guys plenty of opportunities.
100%. And that cannot be undersold. You know, we talked about it, I think last week or the week before about Vegas sending a couple more guys into the UFL draft this past week. And then, yeah, as you said, you know, there's been multiple guys that have gone from the IFL to the CFL this season, including, was it Faucha that was in Bay Area as well?
Joe Fouché.
So there's been, like you said, 20 players. That's honestly a pretty consistent number, I bet, if we went and looked back and did the numbers each season.
And that's multiple guys from multiple teams. Like you've got TJ Davis for Green Bay with Winnipeg. You've got 3 or 4 guys, maybe 5 guys for Vegas. You've got 4 guys for Jacksonville. Like you've got plenty of guys going to the CFL from multiple teams, which is telling you just the connections that the connections that the coaches have with these teams, with these players. And like we spoke earlier in the show, like to not burn bridges, to network, to get these guys these opportunities, it's proving dividends right now.
Agreed. And wanted to pull this comment up. Local talent will have opportunities to be involved in pregame and postgame team content. It's on the teams to organize all of that. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And, you know, and maybe that's where they kind of get their chance to shine and let their local bias fly as well. So that would be cool. But it'll be interesting to see which teams kind of decide to put into that. 7 in CFL off last year's team for Vegas alone, I imagine, because that definitely was not for the entire league.
No.
So thoughts on James Graham signing with San Antonio?
Just more quarterback fodder for San Antonio, which leads me to believe that Joaquin Collazo's spot is not locked up. I mean, he had an all right season from Iowa and San Antonio last year, but if they're signing Graham, and I forgot the other guy, let me look it up really quick, unless you've got it off the top of your head.
Yeah, Dante Santos.
Okay, there you go.
Dante Santos.
Yep. It's showing me that they're probably going to have a quarterback competition. Collazo could probably have the leg up, but James Graham coming over from Georgia Tech, we'll see how it goes. I mean, quarterback has been kind of an issue since Castronova in San Antonio, whether it was Malik Henry, Guy Myers, Collazo, whoever the case could be over the last couple of years. Like it's proven that San Antonio needs to get this quarterback position right because they've got a lot of talent in the skill positions, defense, things like that to make it go. If that quarterback can get hit, then they should have a good season.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a decent move. I mean, he's older, right? He's 27, I believe. So, you know, 27, yeah. So, I mean, it's a veteran quarterback. For me, I think Collazo, the starter in San Antonio, in my opinion, I think he had a great season last year for a rookie, moving systems midway through the season. But he also had Naquan Murray right here, Naquan, he had Kali Rashad. Those guys aren't there. So now you have Glenn Gibbons as your only primetime receiver. It's interesting, for sure.
I mean, it depends too. What was San Antonio's offense last year? At some points, it was Guy Myers doing it all running, wasn't really throwing, and then you had Malik Henry, who was your prototypical AF1 style, like Castronova replacement, where we're just going to throw, and that's what they brought in with Collazo. So what was San Antonio's offense? Because sometimes they would run it, Keyshawn Harper would look good. Other times they were just air raid. So it's like, what is your offensive identity? I think that's what they need to figure out.
For sure, and I also think you got to look how much of Bain's offense is Coach Fuller's offense, right? This is his first time coaching, and I believe he'll be calling the offense. And another thing I want to bring up too, that's interesting is James Graham hasn't played in like 5 years. So is he in shape? Is he ready to go? How did they find him? That's what I'm interested about.
Fair point. Although I will say when he did play for Georgia Tech, he was definitely a dual threat quarterback, so can definitely play in the indoor football rule set. So I'm excited to see what he can do there with Jonathan Bain, teaching him how to play the game. Couldn't ask for a better mentor if you're a quarterback for IFL. So as far as off the well goes, I understand the local flavor sentiment about broadcast, but when you are upscaling your broadcast, having more nationally recognizable names gives the league curb appeal.
I get
100%.
that, but I do want to push back on that. I'm not saying you have to hire all of the local guys or keep the local guys by any means, but just because a guy has a name doesn't mean that, okay, so I'll just throw Kurt Warner because most people know him from the arena game. If you throw Kurt Warner on a broadcast because he does stuff for the NFL Network and people see that, that's not going to make them an automatic fan of the Green Bay Blizzard. That's all I'm trying to get at with that is like, okay, you've got names and it might make you want to stick around and listen to the broadcast, but you're watching the games because of the team you want to root for. I'm not watching the Chiefs-Raiders game because Kenny Albert is calling. So, I mean, I get where he's coming from with it. You will have big names on there. It's going to make it look more professional. But to that credit, I mean, you got to have the guys that can call because we got plenty of big names that you can sit there for college football, the NFL, that have no idea what they're doing. Everyone's turned their back on Tony Romo because he looked good and then he didn't. So that's all I'm trying to say. It's no hate towards anyone. We still don't know who the broadcasts are going to be, but the local flavor, some of those guys knew what they were doing. Plenty didn't. But for the ones that did, I do want to shout them out.
That's fair. That's fair for sure. And then there has been some rumors that have cropped up recently, and this is the fun one for today, that a 15th team for the IFL will be being announced in the near future. Now, this is just a rumor. We have no confirmation on this, but it does sound like the IFL is working on an expansion for 2027 and beyond. I think Todd Tryon even alluded to the fact that they have teams reaching at about 2028, if I remember correctly, in one of his interviews. But one thing that I wanted to throw out there is kind of a caveat to this little fact that we're about to discuss is that I noticed recently on LinkedIn the IFL president seems to be keeping a very close eye on the New Jersey venue that the AF1 used for their championship game in 2024 when, of course, Jared Widman was involved with the AF1. So I don't know that there's any connection there, but it's just something I wanted to throw out there that I had noticed over this past week. So, maybe there's a connection there. But, Cody, what are your thoughts on the rumors that a 15th team could be announced fairly soon?
I mean, excuse me, it's status quo. The Indoor Football League has wanted to get to, if you read the rumors on Arena Fan and Love Football and all that, they've wanted to get to 24 teams for quite a while. It's a huge endeavor because the original Arena Football League never got to 20. They got to 19. So it's a huge, huge thing. but the 15th team will most likely be New Jersey. I mean, they're going to have the neutral sites there. It's the worst kept secret right now. It's going to be New Jersey. And if that's what he's looking at, whether it's the mall there, which I really hope it's not, wherever they have it. And that could be the venue where they're having these showcase games. We just have no idea. Until that news comes out, it's been under lock and key for quite a while until stuff starts to leak. So it will most likely be New Jersey. And then you're looking for that 16th team because, again, Todd Tryon said he kind of wants to go in pairs. He doesn't want odd teams. He doesn't want to keep scheduling bye weeks and stuff like that for the odd team. So you're probably looking at someone in the Southeast because the rumors of Greenville, South Carolina always ramp up, or Virginia. And you've heard rumors of them rumored with ECHL teams, whether it's Norfolk, Virginia with the Norfolk Admirals, Greenville Swamp Rabbits, whatever the case could be. I mean, you're looking at teams from the ECHL or owners with deep pockets. So I will speculate it's probably going to be one of those two cities if you have a 16th team, but I think New Jersey is probably going to be the 15th team. Oh, Mike Davis says it's not New Jersey. Come back on here and tell us. Spill the beans. Spill the beans.
Yeah, come on, coach. Come tell us exactly which location it's going to be. Ron Sosa says Jersey. That arena is awesome. Need Jersey. It could be the Kia Arena as well, which I think we've discussed here at points in time as well. So that was where the Philadelphia Soul were supposed to play in 2024.
I would love the neutral site game to be in the mall. On May 18th, we can smack that shit in front of everyone walking by in the mall. That would be amazing.
It's going to be another team in Vegas.
It's the Las Vegas Rockers.
Hey, man, what is wrong with you?
All right, so I do want to say this. I did have a comment on my YouTube channel a week or two ago. I believe it is Bob from Inside the Sharks, because it's Steel City Bob commented on one of them. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and Rome, Georgia. So
I have heard some rumblings about Rome, Georgia, and I think we've talked about South Carolina, but not necessarily a specific city. So that would make some sense for sure. So shout out to Inside the Walls and Bob over there, and maybe there's some truth to that. Whatever happened to that Columbus, Ohio expansion team?
They did.
Yeah, they, along with the owners of the Frisco Fighters, who were supposed to launch that team, are no longer affiliated with the league. From what I understand,
they did.
Sorry about that. My kid wanted me to check out his video he's watching at the moment. So
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You think that would work?
I really do think it would work. That's a tourist city, easy to fly in, fly out. The fan base down in South Carolina is huge for football. I think it can work.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina.
Who would you hire, Coach B? Who would you hire if you were the GM of the team as head coach for that Myrtle Beach team?
I don't know. It would be depending on who's available at the time or who fits. I would probably try to get somebody down south from that area who knows the landscape to bring him, the crowd. That would be ideal because in the South, it's hard when you go in the South. It's about who you know, not what you know down there.
Cody, what were you about to say?
Oh, I was just going to say they should go hire Rob Keefe.
I was thinking Anson Yarbrough. He's from South Carolina, correct? Coached down there before, knows the area pretty well.
He lives in South Carolina.
Currently in the IFL as an assistant coach, so it would make sense in terms of him knowing the rules.
I could see Les Moss. I could see, an older veteran coach taking over that market. Rod Miller. I think Rod Miller. Watch out. Rod Miller is going to get a head coaching job this season. After being 1 year with the DC in Vegas, their defense is going to be good. I won't lie. Their D-line especially, right? And then he's going to go and he's going to get a head coaching job, in my prediction.
He's been a head coach before at Bismarck.
Yep.
So it's not like it's new to him. I mean, he's been a head coach there. Wasn't he co-head coach at Mass?
Who?
Rod Miller.
Nah, yeah, he was the head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Maybe I heard you wrong because you're making it sound like he's never been a head coach before. I was like, he's definitely been
no,
a
I'm
head
just
coach
saying like
before.
this offseason he didn't get an opportunity. It's kind
Yeah.
of surprising to me.
Carolina Arena Football not named the Cobras would be interesting. It's actually been happening for many years. There's the Predators, and there are some rumors that they could move up to the professional level over the next couple of years. So watch out for that as well. We have a comment from one of the owners, I believe, the Beaumont Renegades.
The main
I'd love to
owners,
see
yeah.
New York, New Jersey get a team, and I'd even hear out Buffalo getting a team. Would love to see that. He definitely deserves to be a head coach, says Davis, who he will be coaching with him this year. From Rodney Robichaux, how about the Beaumont Renegades 2025 champions, first-year champs? We are very excited for the kickoff of 2026 season. 90% of the Renegades are returning, adding to the champions. Some of the best are joining the champions for 2026. God bless AF1, players, fans, sponsors, staff, owners, and organizations, and professional group. South Carolina is not easy to fly into, but there's some beautiful area down there. All right,
That's
so
another name I would want. That would be nice. I would like
CJ?
that. CJ, South Carolina. That would be nice.
Do it. Any thoughts, anything you guys wanted to get to before we wrap this up and turn it over to the pre-recorded interview with Matthew Kayward of the Nebraska Siege?
I do think that's pretty no matter what nobody say, I do think that's pretty amazing that you can return 90% of your roster from previous season and y'all jump to a new league. So congratulations on that. Hope you have great success down there. You got a good coach and Coach Mayfield down there. Coach Peace. I love Coach Peace, man.
That's awesome, Sydney. A Buffalo football team that the city can actually believe in. Hey, you might get Phillip Rivers as the head coach here soon, so you never know.
Yeah, you can always root for the Sabres.
Off the Wall says holy emojis, Batman. I'm just so excited for the IFL season. So any other topics you guys wanted to get to before we get out of here for the day?
Not just excited for the season. I think we should have a lot more development coming in within the next week and a half on terms of some of these teams. And, I want to hear some news out of Dallas and Pueblo and all them. And then, just with Orlando Pirates, man, we got some more signings coming soon. Really excited. Our D-line is I feel like we got one of the best D-lines in the country, to be honest. So I'm excited, man. It's a big year. This year is going to show a lot for a lot of people, so I can't wait. And then Coach B has a big announcement soon, so excited for that.
They're just going to throw that out there on him. That's not fair. Dang, let him break his own
I'm not
news.
saying what it is, but it's huge. So
yeah. We'll talk about that when he's ready to talk about that for sure.
Cody?
What?
Scared him away.
Looks like he got a phone call too. Cody, any final thoughts for anybody?
I mean, with the amount of transactions and everything that's gone on and everything that's like, I'm trying to keep up with all the indoor football stuff, and then Trey drops all these bombs with all of his interviews and everything. So hopefully tonight there will be turn this way. There will be a new episode of In the Alley, and I'll post that to the socials and stuff like that because it's been a month. So I need to get back up on my grind here because you guys are taking up all my time. So,
all right, we'll stop. We'll stop on that note. We'll go ahead and let
hey,
everybody.
Coach, gotta put hey, if Delora moves up to CFL, it's over for y'all for real. Like, we got some things coming for you. So you're not ready. That D-line is ready for you.
Project Superfan, yes, we discussed the Josh Jones situation at length. Definitely recommend you go back and watch that segment. More and more info coming fast. It seems like every day there's more news with all the different leagues out there right now. It's almost nonstop, even though we're dead in the off season currently. New Jersey has a great team, the Jersey Bearcats. They will always be a great team because AJ Roque has a say in it, and he doesn't like to lose, trust me. So if you guys have not done so already, make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe. And one last time, I wanted to shout out our giveaway. So one more time, you can win a piece of the turf, the Sioux Falls Storm once played on. Follow Indoor and Arena Football History on TikTok and find the contest keyword. Hint, hint, it was dropped in this show earlier today. Join our mailing list at shadysportsnetwork.com. Contest keyword live during Around the Indoor Football World, which I just realized I spelled wrong. So I'll have to fix that graphic. That's awesome. On that note, we are going to leave you guys with a very extended interview with Matthew Kayword from the Nebraska Siege. So thank you guys all for joining us today. We will catch you in the next one. Quick commercial break, and then stick around for that interview with Matthew Kayword.
Russell into the end zone, touchdown! Russell has to step up in the pocket, has some room in front of him, gets that three-step drop, here comes the pressure, passes complete to Flowers, back to pass, pressure coming, has somebody in the end zone, touchdown! Russell, pressure's coming, Russell able to escape, still on his feet, and will be brought down at the looking, has plenty of time, has Flores at the 15, he's at the 10, and Russell has it on the outside. Like I said, he ain't taking a slide. Russell steps up, lets one go. Robinson makes the circus catch. It's going to be a low snap. Here comes the pressure, and the pass is going to be complete. And making the catch of Grant Russell. Russell, back to pass, looking. He has Robinson makes the catch, and will be brought down on the play by Isaiah Hall.
This presentation of Shady Sports Network, we have a special interview, the new GM of the newest team in the Arena League, the Nebraska Siege. How are you doing, Matthew?
I'm doing good, TJ. Thanks for having me on. I know you guys garner a lot of fans on this show. I'm not surprised. We just want to make sure we get it right for all your fans and those that are watching around the league. But yeah, it's pronounced Kayword.
Awesome. Yes. And before we get into it, I guess too, I see here you're an ordained chaplain.
Yeah, no, I've been very blessed in my
years.
life to do it. Yeah, to do a lot of things in my life. My father was a minister, an ordained pastor for the majority of my life. Started in ministry school when I was a baby, and then got back into full-time ministry when I was in high school. We moved from Oregon down to Arizona. I grew up, spent my high school days in Prescott, Arizona, Prescott Valley, Chino Valley area, northern Arizona. And so got to go to high school there, played sports there. Sports is a big factor in my life. I've been very blessed because of that. And because of sports, it put me on a road. I got to go to college and played football and baseball at an NAIA school in Kansas, which is where I met the love of my life. And my wife I married, and we're going to celebrate 30 years of marriage this June. So she's been an amazing influence on my life, an amazing supporter of everything that we've done. So I felt a call into ministry when I was very young. I served as an associate pastor of a church that my dad pastored as the youth minister, and then I served at a youth camp as well. When I went to college, I pursued ministerial degrees, so I wanted to be a pastor when I was young. And then when I went to college, I met my wife for the very first time, met her on the very first day, and we fell in love, got engaged over Christmas break, and then we got married that summer, and we had a child right away, so I had to get into the workforce. So I joined the military, got to serve in the Army for a few years. I served in Anniston, Alabama, stateside at Fort McClellan. I was there part of the BRAC, the closure of that base. And then when that was over, I moved back home, did ministry work, and then kind of fell into the fire service. A good friend of mine whose family was in the fire service. I played high school football with the Tarver family, Jared Tarver, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're doing hiring. You got to come do this. You'd love this. You'd be great at it. You'd be great at this work." And so I went and did a tryout, and he was right. I fell in love with the fire service, found my new passion. I got to serve 2 decades in the fire service. Served 3 years in Chino Valley, Arizona, and then took a full-time job as an associate pastor and a firefighter in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So my wife and our 2 girls at the time, we moved out to Albuquerque. We would later have our 3rd daughter, our final child, there in Albuquerque, and we got to serve there for a few years as an associate pastor of a church, and then went on and served a full 2 decades in the fire service there with Bartholomew County, and retired in December of 24.
Wow.
So we had a great life there. In 24, I got into indoor football in 2014. Well, actually 2011, when the Rio Rancho launched the New Mexico Stars indoor football team as part of the IFL, one of the first teams in the IFL when it was first formed. And so I went to an open tryout on my 35th birthday. Actually, it landed on a Saturday on my birthday in January, and I tried out, and I impressed the coach enough. Coach Williams, Chris Williams, who has a lot of history in indoor football and coaching, was an amazing coach, great guy. He took a shot on an old timer that was local and brought me into camp. I got to go through camp 2 seasons and got to play a bit with New Mexico Stars, and then the third year that organization changed ownerships again and brought in a new head coach who would become my best friend, my mentor, Coach Dominic Bramante. And Coach wouldn't sign me to a contract. I went to 2 different tryouts. He still wouldn't sign me a contract. And I found out later he didn't sign me because he didn't really want a 100-year-old quarterback. He wanted an actual athlete. So that would win some games for him. So he didn't bring me on as a player, but he did bring me on staff, and we became very close. And he's a dear friend of mine. I love him to death to this day. When we talk, we always end our conversation with "I love you," because I love the man very much. He's been very influential in my life, and got to meet some great people through that. I got to coach with him for a season in 2013. We took the Stars to a championship. And as Coach likes to say, if you say that you've been to a championship, it's because you didn't win the championship. And so we went to the championship, didn't win, came back, and it was made clear to us that that's Coach calling me right now. It was made clear to us that we weren't going to have success with the team in the market that we were in Rio Rancho. It's outskirts of Albuquerque. And so we thought, man, we need to do this on our own. We had trouble with ownership every year that team was there. And so we thought, man, could we do this on our own? Could we build a franchise that would be successful, move it into Albuquerque? And so we met with the arena, met with the manager of the arena, amazing guy, Dan Morning. He loved the idea. They partnered with us. We built the Duke City Gladiators. My wife and I pulled out loans and pulled out money every we could. We funded the team, just the 2 of us. And so we built that franchise literally from nothing. And we did it in a matter of 2 weeks and jumped into the season where the Stars had left. Their franchise folded. And so we took over their spot and launched our team a year early than we wanted to. But we were buying turf. My construction company that I was running at the time built the walls in the arena because they didn't even have walls for the ice rink. And so we built the walls out, framed them up, bought pads, bought turf, bought gear. We did all this in literally 2 weeks. And we launched the Duke City Gladiators. And 4 seasons later, it seemed we had a good plan. We had a good system, and we built an amazing culture there. Coach Ramonte is the best in the business. There's no doubt about it. He's phenomenal. And we built a great franchise there. We built a great culture. We had great players that could win at the highest level, and we enjoyed two world championships with that franchise. So was very, very blessed to be there and be a part of indoor football. I said sports changed my life, and that was a part of it. Through my relationship with Coach Bramante, I got to meet his best friend in life, the new head coach of the New York Football Giants. And so I got to know Harbs I've enjoyed a relationship with Harbaugh for 11 years now through
Nice.
Dominic, and got to meet his father, Jack, when they came out to visit our Albuquerque and visit us for a week. And, just through that, lots of doors of opportunity opened up for me. Running the team, being around guys that were chasing their dream inspired me to continue to chase my dreams, even at an older age of 36, 37. And so I finished my degrees in school, got 2 bachelor's degrees, got 2 master's degrees, and now I'm working on a doctoral degree in leadership and organizational culture. But, been very blessed to do a lot of things, from serving in the military to serving in the fire service and retiring in the fire service and running a pro franchise in Albuquerque and having great success and doing it at the highest levels with some great people, and getting to meet a lot of great people that spoke into me life and energy and becoming a dreamer. So I'm still doing that today. Here we are. Would never have thought I'd be back in indoor football, but I live up in Grand Island now. I took a job up here with the fire department full time as an executive leader, as a operations and training chief for the fire department here, and did that for a year, and then stepped away, and all of a sudden a franchise was coming here, and Tommy and Tim Brown were launching it, and I know those guys very well, and they're great people, and so we met a couple of times, and it looked like something we want to do. One of the criteria for doing this, I'll tell you, is that my wife was okay with us doing it. She's a big supporter of me, and she always has been, and the people that are around me and support me. I almost let the cat out of the bag of who was going to be the head coach, but we're not ready to announce that yet. So
it's cool. You can. We'll listen.
I won't do it on this show because we're going to do it in a press conference. So we'll see.
Nice. Gosh, man. Well, thank you for your service. That's so wild how much of a life you've lived before you even came, to get started with Duke City, man. That is amazing. I feel like usually when we interview people, it all revolves around football solely, but it seemed like at some point you were as far away from football as you could be. Did you always have it in the back of your mind that you wanted to be a quarterback? Was that your main goal? Because I mean, it had to be enough to motivate you to go and try out at 35.
Well, sports was a big influence in my life. It allowed me to go to college. It's where I met my wife, playing football and baseball and scholarship. And so sports has always been. I've always loved it. Played a lot of sports, and then when an arena franchise, I played semi-pro ball. Just the rec leagues, the adult leagues in Albuquerque, and we won a couple of national championships with those amateur level teams, and so had a lot of fun with it. And when the pro team came to town, I didn't know anything about arena football, never even heard of it. It's not something I'd done or watched. And when the team came to town, I saw that they were having an open tryout that anybody could go, pay your $40. I thought, why not? And it landed on my birthday, so it seemed like providence. And so I was like, oh, let's go try it out. And I had a good enough practice or tryout that Coach Williams took a shot on me, and so he signed me to a contract right there. Dart Clark actually was the general manager of that franchise when it first started. I know he ran a team down in El Paso, the Generals, back in the day. But I signed, went through practice, learning a whole new game. Never played indoor football before, and so, but I was around playing, your rec league, amateur football with just people in the city that love football still, and probably much longer than we probably should be playing football at our age at 35. But I was in good shape, and the fire service kept me in good shape, a profession that I love, and so being able to compete at that level was a lot of fun, and I learned a new game, and then when I met Coach Bramante, I mean, he transformed my life. I got a master class in leadership from him. I mean, he is a very dynamic speaker and teacher, and he is all about culture. And I know he enjoys a great close relationship with one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, in my opinion. And so I know he's learned a ton from John, and I've been a benefactor of that and those experiences. And so a lot of the people have been in my life. I mentored this past year. I spent the last year mentoring under John Gordon, who's a great speaker. He speaks to a lot of coaches. He's good friends with and speaks with Sean McVay. He speaks with Dabo Sweeney. I mean, he speaks with all the great coaches in the NFL and in college and in Major League Baseball. And so I got to mentor under John Gordon for a year now. We met several times a month and went out for a training camp with him this past May. And just amazing people in my life, and have given me so much. And I've been so blessed with it. But I got to play sports in college, and I loved it. It's not something I could shake. And I got to play a couple of games in with the Gladiators, the team that I owned and built, and with my wife. And so been very blessed, my man. I've been very blessed in football. So.
So from at one point in time, not even really knowing that arena and indoor football existed, to trying out, making a team, then owning a team, and now you're back as general manager. What is it about the game of indoor or arena football that, just you can't shake?
Well, it's just happenstance. I think that I'm a believer that things don't happen by accident. That I believe that my Lord and Savior puts me on a path for a purpose and for a reason, and the things that I've been through have enabled me to do that. Football's given a lot to me and given me a lot of opportunities, and I love being around it. I love being around players that are chasing a dream because when you're around guys that are chasing dreams at the highest level, it really inspires you to be a dream chaser yourself. And my mentors have taught me that you need to chase dreams for the rest of your life. You get how many chances at this life, TJ? You get one chance at this life, man. How can you live it on an average scale? How can you live it in an average way? How could you have an average mindset every day when you get one chance at this? And as John and John Harbaugh would tell you, attack this day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, something that he learned from his father, Jack. And it's a lesson that I took when I heard him speak it out. And so I think we should attack this day with our greatest effort. And that's what we do every single day. It's how I've approached my career in the fire service to the highest levels. I speak and teach on leadership and culture all across the country. I've been very blessed to do that. But it's a system and a methodology that we built in pro football, that we built with the Gladiators. And we have a mindset system that we use. It's based on 3 colors. It's very simple. It's repeatable. And you can do it in any industry. You can teach it in high school sports. You can teach it in the restaurant industry. You can teach it in the construction industry. And I've applied this into the fire service. And we have the 8 rules that we use that hold us accountable in building culture. And so we focus on those 8 rules every single day. We focus on our mindset and what color we are every single day. And that's how we have success. So being able to apply this system back to pro sports, and that interested me. I would love to do that again. And so once that opportunity presented itself, just by happenstance, I didn't seek this out. It came along the way, and I felt like God was calling me back into pro football for a reason. What that reason is, we'll find out. I don't know for sure, but I know what comes out of it. I know what be a part of a professional athlete's dream and aspiration does to me. I know what coaching and inspiring others does to me. When you empower other people, you are ultimately really empowering yourself as you empower others, as you teach others, as you, I believe knowledge is a gift, but it's only a gift if you do what with it. You gotta give it away in order for it to be a gift. And so as I've learned from great people and the opportunities I've had in my life and where we're at, I know it's just not happenstance that happened, but before we took this job, we prayed a lot about it because we thought we were going in a different direction in just speaking and teaching to firefighters and that culture full time. And this opportunity came along, prayed about it, and I really felt like the Lord was leading me into this. And so, man, what a great opportunity to speak life into great young men that are chasing their dreams and giving them an opportunity to get to the next level. That's our goal and our hope. And we've always built a culture with that. When we were running it in Albuquerque, we had a fantastic coach that taught the same thing, and he would inspire guys and change people's lives. I'd see players call coach every single day, all the time, because of what he's done for them in their life, not just in football, but in their life. And so, that affords us, the relationships that we have and the culture that we build affords athletes a honest, true opportunity to get to the next level. It's one phone call away for us when we get someone in here who can play at this level. And, Harbaugh will ask us one question when we will offer up a player. We call him and tell him, and coach calls him and tells him that, hey, this is an opportunity. This is a guy we need you to look at. He asks one question: can you vouch for this man's character? And that's what it's all about. We build culture with people of great character. We hold each other accountable, and that's how we win. We have a system and a methodology that we all believe. And it's a system, I believe in it so mightily. I'm so passionate about it because it changed my life. It literally changed this system changed my life. It saved my life. And I'm here today because of this system, in part, mostly because of my hero, my wife, who is a praying woman who prayed for me every single day when I was going through hardship, and who stuck by me when she really didn't need to. She didn't have to. And she didn't deserve to, but she did, and she prayed for me, and I was redeemed through a very difficult situation that I went through, and in which I almost took my own life, and we made it through that, and now I get to enjoy 30 years of marriage with a woman I love deeply, and three amazing young ladies that we got to raise together. So who are living great lives themselves. So I've been very blessed by it, man. I've been very blessed with it. So why not? Let's go after it. Let's attack this day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. And so, that's why I admire what you guys are doing. You're building a radio program, a podcast. This is a tough business. It's competitive. What you do is hard work. And so, I think that's wonderful. I admire you guys for that. You're trying to build something out, and I think that's great. And you just happen to be doing it in a sport, in an industry that I love very much. And so I think it's great that we get to cross paths together, and we get to influence each other and encourage each other and empower each other and challenge each other, man. What can we do today to raise our brand? What can we do? Because as a professional, you have a brand. And that's one of our rules. Rule number 4 is, be a pro. And as a professional, you have a brand. Everything you do is a reflection of your brand. How you get up in the morning, how you go to bed at night, how you prepare for the day, how you prepare for the week, what you're doing with your day every single day is all about your brand, as a reflection of how you treat people, what comes out of your mouth, what you say. Are you negative? Are you pessimistic? Are you bad mouthing other people? That's your brand on display as you speak those words out. And so, and the people you surround yourself, you associate yourself with, is a reflection of your brand. Do you have people that are investing in you? Are you surrounding yourself with people that challenge you? All of that is a reflection of your brand. And that's one of our responsibilities. It's things that we teach in our culture. And so, we're careful about the people we surround ourselves with. It's by, I vetted this very much. I know the Arena League is run very well because I know the caliber of people that are involved. When you got Tim Brown, Heisman Trophy winner, Hall of Famer, 9-time Pro Bowler at the helm as a general manager, it says something about the brand. And so we hope that our brand, the Nebraska Siege, in fact, we know it because we know the system that's coming here. We know the caliber of people we're going to bring here. We know the caliber of players we're going to bring here, and the coaches, and what we do in the front office. I promise you, this front office is working very, very hard to develop out a brand that our community will fall in love with and be very proud of. And that's a part of our system and our culture. So, why not be a part of that and raise it up? Because I know that we're going to bring the Arena League brand to another level. I promise you, it's infectious what we do and what we say and how we are, and how we build this out and what we do. It's going to influence everybody around us. It's going to help this community. It's going to help all the people, the coaches that we bring on locally. We're going to teach them our system and our culture, and I know they're going to benefit from it because I benefit from it. My life has been changed because of this system.
Yeah, I was gonna say about getting in. You mentioned you guys are getting involved in the community. I was gonna say I can see it already from the logo. I was trying to pull it up here. Isn't that like a local bird?
Yeah, Nebraska is known for its the crane, and it's a specific kind of crane that's a protected crane here. And so when the league had put out for a name change or a naming contest, the overwhelming majority of responses were about the crane. Mm-hmm. And then of course Nebraska has a history in the military. Yeah. The bombers that won, the flying fortresses that won World War II trained here in Grand Island at the Air Force base that was here, and there was an ammunition manufacturing plant here. I'm not real familiar with Nebraska's history, but those are the two things that came up when they were doing the naming process. I've only been here for a year, since December of 24. We moved here. But man, what a great culture here. It's a very diverse community. We love it very much. We attend an incredible church with one of our favorite pastors that we've ever been around. Our pastor and his wife are amazing, amazing people. They've really spoke a lot of life in us. We connected with them right away. My wife was hired on staff there with that church, and I've got to bring the message and preach from the pulpit a couple of times there. And so they've just been so loving to us and this whole community, being able to serve with the fire service and first responders here, and the people we've got to meet. We've been so blessed with it, and all of the people, the fire chief and the police chief, and all of the guys that work in the fire service here. The firefighters are amazing people. They work very hard and they serve this community so well. And we're blessed to be around them. So it's been great to be around them. So the community here. And so, yeah, they named a flock of cranes is called a siege. And then with the military background with that bombers, it just fits very well with the siege. So we really love the name. We love the logo. We love the brand. I feel like this is a brand that I can get behind and the community can get behind. It captures Nebraska and then the color system as well. And so my background in the military, I love my brothers and sisters that serve this country and the sacrifices they make. My father served in the Marine Corps in Vietnam, and he also got a commission and served in the United States Army as an officer of a cavalry unit. So, service is deep in my family's history. My grandfather served in World War II. And so, we've got a lot of military in our family, and it's been an influence in my life. And so a brand that is made of that and the community and the great state of Nebraska. This is a football state. And so, I got to meet Coach Rule at a training camp with my mentor, John Gordon, and he came right up to me. I was wearing a fire department shirt, Grand Island Fire Department, and Coach Rule came right up to me. He's, "Oh, Grand Island, Nebraska." And I said, man, Coach, great to meet you. I was hoping I'd meet you. And you're one of the people that I really wanted to see and listen to and hear speak, because he's a culture guy. He builds great culture. And that speaks to my heart, because I've been around some great cultures in my life, been affected by great organizational culture. And I'd love to talk about it. So no, I think it's a great thing. You bring up a great point, Cedric. The brand is top notch. And I think it's something that we can build on and capitalize on. And it's about the community in the state and the history of it. And we're gonna represent it very well. I can promise you that.
Yeah, speaking more to the team, how would you say that, coming in as the GM to Nebraska, how has the transition been, as opposed to back when you started Duke City, as you were saying, like you had to do it in a couple weeks. Now this time it's probably been way more normalized in processing.
That's a very good point. A very good question, TJ. You're exactly right. Hit it on the head. When we built the Gladiators out, they had a team in Rio Rancho, a suburb of Albuquerque, and it didn't have a lot of success. Minor league sports is a tough business anyway, but it didn't draw a lot of fans. And we were told by the editor of the newspaper in Rio Rancho at the time, during championship week, actually getting ready to go to the championship game, travel down for that, and in San Angelo. And I remember the reporter saying, "Listen, fellas, I know you're excited about the championship game, but you can win multiple championships here, and this town is never going to accept you as a franchise. You're not going to garner fans." And so we were pretty upset about that. And after we lost that game, we sat in a dear friend of mine's restaurant, Phil Chavez. He owns a restaurant called The Grill in Albuquerque. And we were sitting in that restaurant trying to decide what we're going to do with the future, what we could do. And so we started dreaming right there and decided right then and there we were going to build a franchise that we could be very proud of, that the city would really be proud of. We named it the Duke City Gladiators. The Gladiators was an idea of my wife's. We played in the Coliseum. Tingley Coliseum. And so her idea was, well, what about the Gladiators in the Coliseum? And man, we thought that's perfect, because we were thinking of, in fact, we even pitched the idea of the Chupacabras, which is what is happening now in Albuquerque, the relaunch of that franchise with its new owner, who is a phenomenal human being. I love the guy very much. And Mike Feets is going to do a great job with that franchise down there, because he's a great human being. He's a big supporter of mine, a dear friend of mine, and he's a great business person. And so they're naming the team the Chupacabras now in New Mexico. But we pitched that idea of that name. We talked about the Warriors to capture the native culture that is in that community. And we settled on the Gladiators because we were playing in the Coliseum. And then our team colors were, we knew Coach Bermonte knew we were going to color black and silver, because we wanted to be rough and tough and capitalize on what the silver and black did in the NFL with the Raiders. And in fact, the championship season, our mantra that entire year in 2018, when we won the first championship, was just win, baby, which is after Al Davis. And so, in fact, on the inside of the championship rings, it's engraved just win. that was our mantra that entire season. And we built a franchise. Our team, our mentality was about that in the silver and black. And so that's what we're about. But when we built that franchise, to answer your question, it was a grind. It was just me. I was the only older owner. I pulled a second mortgage on my house to fund the team. Had all my vehicles, because I ran a successful construction company, had all my vehicles paid off. We were debt free, and we pulled credit everywhere we get it, because we bought a travel bus. We had to buy the turf. We had to pay for the walls. Had to buy the pads. We had to buy gear. We had to buy everything. We had nothing, and garnering sponsorship your first season was really tough, because not a lot of people know what you are. You have to declare your brand. You have to develop out a brand, and so that took time to do it. Now here in Grand Island, very different. Charlie Bosselman, who ran the previous indoor football franchise here, the Nebraska Danger, he ran that franchise for 9 seasons, and they had great success there. They played multiple championship games, and they had a great coach. Mike Davis is phenomenal, and he's coaching now in the indoor league in Vegas, and he's doing a great job. So, Charlie built a great brand here. They did it so this community knows indoor football, and our response that we got is unbelievable. I'm taken aback by it. I knew we'd have something special and good, because I know what we bring to the table and what we're going to build. But I would never have guessed that we would garner the response that we have, and how much people love and miss indoor football, and how ready are for indoor football to be back in this community. And this is a football state. People love football, and the community has been embracing us, and we've gotten so much response from businesses and fans. You see our social media page. It took us years to build our social media brand in Albuquerque, and just in 10 days that we've had the social media page up, we're now over 3,000 fans that are following us on Facebook alone. So it's been incredible. The response has been incredible. It inspires me and pushes me to continue to give my very best, all of my effort every single day, and push our brand up and develop our brand out, and work very hard every single day to honor what this community is about, and the people that are in this community, and the hard work. This is a blue collar community. People here work very hard, and to garner their dollars to come to a game and have a great experience is a great responsibility, and I take it very seriously. So we're going to build a great brand here that people are going to be very proud of, and they're going to have an amazing time at the games, and our sponsors are going to get an incredible return on their investment in sponsoring and advertising at the games, because we're going to have a great, Nebraska had a packed house. They didn't have trouble bringing in fans, and I think we're going to enjoy the same success based on what they were able to do and put together. So we're ready for it, and we're very excited about it.
That is awesome. Man, looking at your LinkedIn, how many championships do you have overall? You got like 40 rings on your page up here.
Well, it's when you can duplicate the pictures out, you just spread them around, and now it looks like you got 40 when there's 4. So it's just clever marketing is how you do that.
There you go.
I've been blessed. I've got the 2 championships in indoor football, and then amateur level, I got to win a couple of state championships, national championships with amateur football, semi-pro football, and then I got to play as a fireman. I got to play on a Battle of the Badges game. We played a football game against the cops every year, and so firefighters versus police officers, and we got to do that 4 different seasons. And fortunately, I love police officers very much, admire what they do, respect what they do, but we beat the cops 4 times that we played them. So we were blessed to do that. So got to play some great football. I'm honored to do it.
Hey, there you go. As far as your team goes here in Nebraska, right? And then with NIL becoming what it is these days, do you think you'll find yourself competing with maybe smaller colleges for the same players? Or have you seen that issue already in the past?
Well, I haven't experienced it because I'm new here, but we all know that NIL has changed the game probably forever, and it affects what kids do in that sport now. And I think it's great for the athletes to get a slice of the pie. I think that's wonderful. So, but it changes the game. It changes how things are done and where kids go to school and how they, how they develop and garner their brand, protect their brand, which is a good thing. And if they can get paid for it, I think that's wonderful. And people go to school different places for different reasons. So, and you got to, now that finances are attached to that, you got to make a tough decision. You got to think about that. It's going to weigh into the decisions that you make and what you do. So as far as how it affects our players, we wouldn't go after a player that is rarely do we go after players that are right out of eligible for the draft. We want guys to chase that dream first and foremost. So typically the players that we are afforded, through our network and how we've done it in the past, we built great relationships with people that represent athletes at this level. And we garner some great athletes. We've also had some amazing athletes come to our organization through open tryouts. So not that we would get a whole lot from that system, but Jason Serta, one of probably the most dominant linebacker in indoor football, was someone we signed from an open tryout in Albuquerque, and he played 5 seasons with us in Albuquerque, and he was a part of the most dominant defense in indoor football, probably in generations, with the Gladiators in 2018 when we won a championship. And we had some great players on that team: Matt Moss, Brett Bowers, Fatu Alale, and Jason Serta, the 4 horsemen there. They pitched the only shutout I've ever heard of in indoor football, and I think we won that game 96-0 against the Texas Revolution, a great franchise. So we've been fortunate to get some great, but when you have great coaches and you have great culture and you have a system and the people that who you're connected to, you're going to get some great athletes. You're going to get some great players. And, some people come in, they don't understand the level of professional this is, that, this is a job, this is a profession, and you're chasing after an opportunity that the door is going to close very quickly on you, because this is a game for the young. You only get to play this game for so long. And, once your film is a year or 2 old from the college, it's useless. And now you need competitive film. And so we understand that system very, very well. And I've been very blessed to be around, arguably the best in the business at this level in indoor football, and the best of the business at the highest level. And so we know what we're looking for. I've trusted Coach Bramante, literally with my life for years. And, he's an amazing at what he does and how he does it. So, we've been blessed with some great players. Now we got to start over. We've got to earn this reputation again. And because this is all about trust, and then trust is a process. And so it's just going to take time for us to build it. We expect that we're going to have success right away, because that's the system that we build, and those are the expectations we put on us. But winning's a process. This takes time. You're not going to win games on Saturday night. You win games in the weeks and the months, all the way back to today, and how we spend our time building out our franchise, and what coaches we bring in, what culture we build, all the people that we surround the football team with, and the players that we bring in, and we put them in positions so they can be successful at the highest level. And, that's what determines whether you win games on Saturday night in indoor football. There's great players all over this league. There's great coaches all over this league. And so we got to compete. And that starts right now as we're building this out. Nothing's trivial. Every decision we make has got a consequence to it. And so, we're very purposeful about that in our culture.
Yeah, speaking on that a little bit, uh, obviously, being back in it, having spent many years in the overall sport, at a certain point, arena football was actually in conversation of being considered like the 5th major sport in the U.S. Do you feel like this sport could ever get back to that popularity wise?
I think that if you go to an indoor game, we always said when we were building out the Gladiators that we couldn't promise a lot of things. We didn't have a control a lot of things. But the one thing we'd promise is, if you've never been to an indoor football game, come the first time, we promise that you'll come again. And that was our experience. We grew that brand. And when people found out the level of athlete that we garner and that's playing at the indoor level. Because we had some great, we had Brian Randall playing with us at quarterback, and he was an incredible athlete, played at Virginia Tech, and the success that he had winning the Rose Bowl, and having athletes like that, athletes like Donovan Portery. It's just been so many great athletes come in the door and play at this level. It's an exciting experience. It's unlike anything else. I fell in love with indoor football when I went to the tryout. Never knew anything about it, but it is so quick. It's so fast. It's intense. It's such a small window of everything. It's football on hyper speed, and you're surrounded with some great athletes. I remember when Harbaugh came in and he spent the week with our players. I remember him saying, "Man, you guys are the real thing. Like, you guys are a step away from the next level. Keep working hard." And he's not wrong. He's been around the greatest athletes on the planet. And so he knows what he sees when he's looking at it. And no, this is a great sport. It's very exciting. It's a great place for businesses and communities to get behind the team. There's not massive budgets of like the NFL or even college football. Those are massive budgets. There's a lot of money at stake to build that out. This is a little bit more affordable. The tickets are a lot more affordable. It's very family friendly. So I really love the indoor game, and I think it is exciting. Whether it's going to come back as, that's up to the fans ultimately. And that's why we have to bring our very best in how we build out our brand, our franchise, what we do in marketing and business, so that we're sustainable for a long, long time. And that's what I love about the Arena League, is it's built from a sustainability model. And so the finances of it are, you can do this for a long time and have success at it. And that's going to make the sport grow. And so when you have a league like this that is stable with great owners and great people, I mean, look at around the TAL and see the people that are involved. Tommy Benizio, Tim Brown, the league owner does a great job. Jeff is a great guy, and the franchises that are around, and look at some of the GMs they've hired now. The GM down in Monroe is phenomenal. What they're putting together down there in Memphis, they got great GMs and great people that are building out a great brand. And so I'm excited about the TAL. It being here in my hometown, it was happenstance. Providence really is what it is. But to be around these people is going to make this sport very exciting and sustainable and a lot of fun for our fan base. So I know we're going to have great success with it. I can see it. I can feel it when I'm talking with people and business owners. They're very excited about it. They can't wait for it to come back. That's the overwhelming response I've had, and it's been incredible. And we've got great support from the arena. We got great people at our arena. Man, I get to meet some Kyler, who runs that arena, is a phenomenal human being, great leader. We first met, we spent an hour and a half not talking about football or what we set the meeting up for. We spoke about culture, we spoke about leadership, we spoke about what God has been doing in our lives together. And it was really a great conversation. And from there, that's been my experience with the people of Grand Island and Nebraska and Kearney and Hastings and the surrounding area. It's really been wonderful. So we're excited about it. Can we get it to be at the height? I think so. If you've never seen it, you doubt it because you've never seen it. But when you come to a game, it's very exciting. Get to take a football home. Like, there's just so much there, so much entertainment, and for the kids too. It's just an incredible experience that's unlike anything else you've ever been at. So, if there's fans out there that are watching this that haven't seen a football game, boy, you're missing out. This is another level of football with some great athletes and high speed and very exciting, lots of scoring, everything that you could possibly want in entertainment for 2.5 hours. So.
Gosh, man, you got me hyped up. I'm about to jump in my car and drive up to Nebraska right now.
Let's go, boy.
Oh.
Hey, we'd love to have you here, Sid. Come on, speak
hey.
to our team. We'll show you some good football here. I promise you that.
Hey, I believe you. Speaking of the team, though, have you guys already built your team? It sounds like you got your staff. You're about to announce it. Do you have like a timeline for tryouts, or do you have open tryouts planned or anything like that already?
Yeah, great question. I can't divulge all of it, but I could tell you this. We're going to announce our head coach on February 6th. From what I've seen in the interviews I've had with this individual, they're excellent. I think they're going to do a great job. I look forward to working with this person. And They have their staff already picked out. So as far as coordinators go, we're going to bring in a good head coach that has knowledge of the game, and then that I'm excited to work with. And he is going to be bringing in 2 coordinators that he has picked out, and then from there we're going to hire local. One of the things that we did in Albuquerque is we brought in local coaches, because man, this is an unbelievable opportunity with the coaching staff we're bringing in, that you're going to learn some great culture, and we're going to teach our RGB culture and the eight rules and the mindset to our players and our staff. The staff are going to learn so much. They're going to get a master class on coaching at the professional level, because it's very different. But and how we build systems and how this works in practice, what a practice looks like at the professional level is very different. So, and working with these athletes will only inspire you and help you. So we're going to hire local coaches. That's our goal. Once we get the staff established and announced, and we can start, talking about that more freely and openly, not being so dang cryptic about it, because we have it set. But we're going to announce it here soon on the 6th of February. And Friday we'll do a press conference, and then we'll be able to share more. But our goal is to bring in local coaches, high school coaches, and college coaches in the area, and some up and coming coaches. We'll have a whole staff of interns, people that want to get into coaching. I met with an intern today who's never been in coaching, and so we're going to develop that person out as one of our interns. They'll learn how to do film, how to film practices, how to process that film, and get it ready for review with players that day. So this is, as you guys know, there's a lot to this, and that's the process so far. After that, once we name our coaches and we're moved on from that process, we have dates picked out for open tryouts. We'll have 2 open tryouts for football players here locally. I'm inundated with requests of when those tryouts are going to be, and we've looked at film of players that we'll bring in for a tryout and get to see them work out in front of us. We've got quite a few of those, so we'll set those 2 dates, and then from there we have tryouts for game operations. We'll have people try out for mascot and all the support stuff for the game the backside of it, in the arena stuff. So we'll have national anthem tryouts. We'll have, all those DJ, VJs, all that stuff, announcers, all that tryout will occur on one of those days as well. And then, the dance team tryouts and all the stuff that goes on the other side of the entertainment side of the sport. So all those are coming up. We'll be announcing those on our social media. So we've got a plan. We've got a system. We've done this before. We're very good at it. And so that's all planned out and on purpose. Everything we're doing is on purpose and has a purpose. So, we're going to roll all that out as we come to it. So.
And speaking of the tryouts, do you have it in your mind that you guys are trying to build more of a local homegrown team, or are you just, hey, whatever the best talent is, it doesn't matter where they come from?
Well, building this is really a coach's question. Our head coach has got a system and a process, and he knows what he's looking for talent and what that team looks like. The game is a little bit different. As you guys know, TAL is a little bit different, where you got 7 players on the field. You don't have any kicking, and the roster size dictates a lot of the decisions that you make. And so you field a team that's going to fit in that, the most competitive in that. We're going to bring in the top athletes, the best athletes in the country that we can garner. That's what our goal is as a coaching staff. And so, we're going to have high level athletes at every position, guys that we know and feel can move on to the next. We're not, and I was talking with some of our agents that we're working with to garner athletes around the country. And, it's important that the people that are looking for talent and feeding us talent know that, we're not hiring indoor football players. We don't have indoor football players. We have professional football players. We only bring in pros that live and breathe their brand every single day. And when we attach the Nebraska Siege brand to their brand. We want to have synergy in that connection. And so it's purposeful why we bring in an athlete and the type of athlete and who we bring in. Well, when we won the championship in 2018, every player on our roster had a college degree. Every one of our players had graduated college, which says a lot about the culture that we were building and the type of people that we had around us. And so that's a big part of it. You know, when you get a degree, that says that you put your mind to something and you can finish that goal. It says a lot about who you are and your character. So, you know, that's a factor in how we pick players. You know, we ask one question. The first question, we ask a lot of questions in recruitment, but the first question we ask every athlete that we talk to is, what does it mean to you to be a great teammate? Because this will come back to, you heard Harbaugh speak on his press conference when he took over the Giants, and he spoke quite a few things that were, you know, core to who he is and his brand and why I know he's going to be successful everywhere he goes, because it's about culture. He builds great culture and he has a system for doing that. And it comes down to one thing, and that's the team, the team, the team. This is all about the team. That's rule number one in our 8 rules. Always protect the team, because the team is greater than any one of us. The team is bigger than me. And so everything I do and the work that I do and my brand and my effort, my attitude that I come in, the decisions I make the night before, the weeks before, us building this out, are all about one thing, and that's the team. And when everyone on the team is playing not for themselves, for a contract, or selfishly, but with the teams that win championships, the teams and the players that hold trophies over their heads at the end of the year are the teams that can get their players convinced before anybody else and sustain that longer than everybody else, that they're not playing for themselves, but they're playing for the man sitting next to them and the man across the side, across the locker room from them, and the people on the staff that sacrifice for this to be here, and all the families that sacrifice for their loved one to chase after their dream. When they're playing for the team, that's when you're going to have success. And the team that can garner that from their players first are the ones that are going to win championships at the end of the season. We know that. That's a part of our culture. It's why it's rule number one. This is all about the team. And that's what we work so hard for and put first in everything that we do. So the players have got to fit in that system. And that's why the first question is always, what does it mean to you to be a great teammate? Because you got to be a great teammate, because this is about the team.
That is so true, right? That is, dang, man. You touched on almost everything. It's so great. You know, you could hear, not only can you hear, but you can see like your history within everything too. You know, you're walking in purpose, you know, from your faith, and, you know, you have the confidence from your military background. You know, you have the leadership from your firefighter experience, and every single one of those, you know, every single part of that journey too. Those are like, you know, those are pretty heavy on their own, right? If you just had it on its own as a chaplain, that's really, you know, great. Or just a firefighter, or just a soldier, or just a coach, you know. But combining this, I mean, you're like the ultimate, you know, GM. What would
I don't know if I'd say that. I got plenty of falls, Cedric. And if you had another 45 minutes or an hour, I could share all those with you, because it's extensive.
Right?
I've failed more times than I've been successful. You know, I've been pushed to the brink many, many times, and I'm grateful and thankful for the grace that my Father in heaven gives me every single day, and his mercy and his forgiveness. And my wife, you know, I told you, she's my hero, and that's a literal statement, because she's prayed me through some of the most difficult situations I've ever been in, because literally I was pushed in a time in my life that I had given up, and I almost took my own life several times during that time. I was in a very low place, a very difficult place in my life, and because of her and her commitment to me and her forgiveness for me and the decisions I made and the compromises I made during that time, I'm so thankful for, and my faith that God was able to redeem me out of that. And because of that, I get to enjoy, you know, a life with my wife. We get to celebrate 30 years of marriage, and we get to enjoy our children. We raised 3 girls together, and they're rock stars. I am so proud of my girls. My oldest daughter is a doctor in physical therapy. She saw a dream and she chased it her whole life, and she achieved it. My two other daughters are also amazing. My middle daughter, Deanna, she graduated high school with an associate's degree, and she went on and got a bachelor's degree in 2 years with a full academic right scholarship at the University of New Mexico in pre-med biology. And then she decided to go back to school and get certified as a ultrasound tech, which is what my youngest daughter did. And she became one of the youngest ever ultrasound techs in the program that she was a part of. And she did it within less than 2 years after graduating high school. And so, I would love to take credit for their success, but that's really their mom and them and their tenacity and their hard work. But, they believed what their parents were teaching them, that they could chase after big dreams. Because I believe God called us to live extraordinary lives. He never wanted us or meant for us to live average, mundane lives. He wants us to chase after supernatural dreams and do supernatural things, so that when you accomplish supernatural, extraordinary dreams, they could take credit for it is our Father in heaven, because you're chasing something supernatural. Only someone supernatural could help you achieve something like that. And so you get one chance in this life, like TJ said earlier, and he's right, that why not dream bigger than what you're dreaming now? Why not chase after extraordinary things and live an extraordinary life, because you only get one chance at it. So let's go chase after big dreams. Let's go run this back. Let's try to build another franchise that hoists trophies over their heads and has wins at the highest level, and we add another ring to the trophy. It's not about those things and those accolades. It's about the process. And that's why rule number 5 is trust the process. This takes time. This is a process. It takes hot fire to make the finest steel. It takes you going through the difficulties that's going to make you who you are and produce who you are. You can't climb the mountain until you train to climb that mountain. That mountain's no good to you unless you've gone through the process of it and you surround yourself with people that are going to make you better and greater and push you to new levels and new heights. And so, trust the process. This is a process. You got to trust it. Even trust the process even over the results, because you won't get results right away. This is a process. This takes time. So rule number 5, trust the process. The results are a consequence of us trusting the process longer and more faithfully, and doing it harder every single day and growing every single day. But it's, like you said, I'm honored that you would say such a thing. I'm blessed, but I've been through very difficult times at the highest level that I nearly lost everything over. And I'm so thankful for God's grace and his mercy and his calling and the responsibilities put on me, the oil that he's put on me in my life. And I take everything that I do very seriously, and I go after it. Like Harb says, I'm going to attack this day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, because who's got it better than us? Nobody. So I'm a big believer in that. He's influenced me and my kids. My daughter said those very words when at her commencement speech when she graduated valedictorian of her ultrasound program. Both my girls graduated at the top of their class, and they both gave speeches at the graduation ceremony. It was a very proud day, my friend. And they mentioned those things that have been spoken into their lives in order for them to chase after their dreams and do great things. So, I've been blessed by it, my friend. I've been blessed to serve in the military. I've been blessed to be in the fire service for so long. I'm blessed to talk to you guys about culture and leadership and where we go from here, because every one of us has this capability. We're all limited by our belief. Belief is the most powerful thing on the planet. It's a spiritual thing, and it affects every one of us. Your belief, your level of belief is either going to make you limitless based on your belief. That's rule number 7. The power of belief. And raise up the expectations. You special. So dream bigger, dream higher, dream, live extraordinary lives and special lives by you having a mindset that's special. And so, a big manifest itself in your life, and the power of positivity in your life will manifest itself in your life as you surround yourself with other people that are positive, and you have an attitude of gratitude, which is who's got it better than us. And if nobody's got it better than us, Cedric and TJ, no one's got it better than you guys. Trust me, you're not a brand here. You're doing something great, man. Go after it with your To heck with all the naysayers and the complainers all the time. Oh, we're under on when they're going to fold as a franchise. Hey, this franchise is not folded, not as long as I'm as part of it, because it's going to get my best effort every single day. You don't know me. That's why you're casting those stones. You haven't a clue what we're about. You don't know what drives me and what's in me and why I'm doing this. Or you wouldn't be asking those questions. You wouldn't be saying those things. But those things don't affect me. It doesn't affect you. You got plenty of people that are casting doubt on you. You know why people cast doubt? They say that that's wrong. It's because they don't want to be held to the level of accountability. You don't want to be a part of this because you can't. You're not at this level. You're not, and not everybody can be. I get that. That's okay. You go live an average life. Go do your thing. There's millions of average people out there. Go be average. That's fine. I'm not discrediting you, but we're doing something different here. Nebraska Siege is going to be at we're a different level. This is a different brand. I promise you that, because I know the work that goes into it every single day, and I know who I am. I don't need your approval. I'm not after that. That doesn't help me at all. Your approval, your respect, your admiration doesn't mean a thing to me, because it doesn't motivate me. What I want and what I garner is something far more valuable than respect and admiration. What I want is trust. I know that when I can garner my men's trust in the teams that I lead and the organizations that I build, when I can garner people's trust, I know that we're unstoppable, because the key to all of this is rule number 5, trust the process. And if I can garner your trust, then I know we can do great things together. So that's what I'm after. And people throw stones at you because they can't live up to those expectations. What do you mean? You run every day, you work out that's stupid. Why do you do that? Because you don't want to be held accountable to that. So you throw stones, you try to discredit it, you try to cast doubt on it, you complain about it because you can't do this. You don't want to be held accountable to it. You got to get up every day. You got to start the night before. You got to chase after dreams, man. That if you want to live extraordinary lives, you got to put in work. You don't want to be held to that level. So you call this dumb and stupid and you try to discredit it. That's you. That doesn't affect me. We don't listen to that stuff. It's because it doesn't motivate us. Even accolades, they don't motivate us. We don't care about that stuff because we have a purpose. God has put a calling on my life. He's anointed me with oil, and that oil says I got to be my very best every single day. And I'm responsible for the decisions and the attitude and my effort that I put in every single day. That's my brand. That's what I'm responsible for. So heck yeah, we're going after this, man. And you guys have the same passion in what you're doing. And that's why I admire you. Go after this. Build a great brand out. Build a great platform out. Share about a great sport like indoor football. And you're going to find yourself surrounded by people that are great. And you're just going to ignore the people that aren't going to speak truth and life and energy into your life. You don't need them. We're building something special up here, aren't we, TJ?
Man, I'm telling you what, that you got me wanting to run through a wall for you. I'll tell you.
Let's do it.
Well, I ran out of questions, but I mean everything that you've said in this interview, man, I'm definitely going to rewatch this anytime I need a pick me up, because man, you really are a motivational speaker, and I don't know how anybody on the Siege team will be able to not jump over the wall for the whole team, for the whole state, really. I wish you guys the best of luck, and I'm definitely going to be cheering you guys on this season. And it's been an honor to be able to sit down and talk with you tonight.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Great to meet you guys. Love what you're doing. I wish you the best of luck. If you ever need anything from us out here in Nebraska, you let us know. We're fans of what you're doing now too. So I'm honored to be here on this program with you guys, and you keep building out a great brand, fellas. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you.
Said, great to meet you, my friend. Yep.
Yes.
Great to meet you
as well, too, man. If you're ever down in Denver, come to my vet center. You come and hang out, talk to some of the veterans over there.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
You text me, so I have your number, and that way I'll reach out to you because we drive through Colorado Springs to go back home to New Mexico all the time. We usually bypass Denver, but hey, if I got a reason to stop in Denver, I'll come see you, man.
There you go. Heck yeah, I will for sure.
Right on,
yeah, I'm
fellas.
out of stuff too. Like, gosh, man, you so much. It's gonna be such a great interview. I can't wait till it comes out for sure. Thank you again for coming on. And anytime you want to come back, please just let us know. I'll have you on whenever.
You got it, fellas. Hey, appreciate you guys. Good luck out there. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, let's go Siege Nation.
Go Siege.
Right.
Yo, what's good? Cedric the bus driver here. I don't know about you guys, but I know what I will be doing every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Thursday nights too. I'll be over at Shady Sports Network, so catch up with me. Holla at your boy.